Hello folks, we are live with round 6, 2025 National Open. Games are just about to get started. I'm here live from the Flamingo Hotel and Casino where the National Open is taking place. I believe it was also here last year too. Okay, so this is a 9-round open event, 90 plus 30. We're about to see 2 rounds today, morning round and afternoon round. And this is the morning round. I was just in the playing hall because I wanted to get a sense of what it was like. And yeah, actually it was nice to get, like the crisp tournament hall air, get a sense of the vibes. It's morning round, so a lot of people are like kind of rushing in late, getting to the boards, but yeah, moves were made. I think we're going to get moves soon. There is a bit of a delay on the games, but I think they'll be starting momentarily. They're doing like the announcements and reminding everyone, no phones out in the playing hall. That's a big one. And there's like game analysis and lectures and so on. So we have a number of players here at the top, but actually only one leader, Grandmaster Victor Matvishin, who plays for, I believe, one of the Texas universities. And he's playing one of the players with 4 points, Robbie Kevlashvili from St. Louis. Actually, there's many players with 4, as you guys can see from the standings. A bunch of Grandmasters, and then International Master from Slovakia, Sebastian Kostolansky, who today is playing against GM Emilio Cordova. And looks like we've got moves. So let's see. This is board number 5, already started. Sebastian goes e4. We also have board 6, Vladimir Akapian, I think the number 1 rated player in the event. He's on 3.5. He's playing FIDE Master Ted Wang. Okay, looks like we have a few games starting. A couple of veteran grandmasters, Pavel Blatny against Melik Kachian. This one looks like already got a ton of moves here. London system. And yeah, we'll see what happens here. Should be a big fight. We got Nizhnik against Gabriela Antova. 2 St. Louis players battling it out here in Las Vegas. Ilya going e4. Hello, Caesar. How are you? Welcome to the commentary. Okay, d4. This game is Vijay Anand. Vijay Anand against Tatev Abrahamian. Women's Grandmaster, another St. Louis local. Looks like we have Fian Keto Kings Indian here. And, we also have the stream. Actually, the streamers, folks, I'll tell you, the streamers, who are not the professional players, they were at the boards early. I was in the playing hall. It's very cool. And most of the open boards, like both players missing. Just showing up late. But the streamers were all there on time. All there on time, set up, ready to go, like the true professionals. So, streamer chess players are professional. Professional chess players, not so much. Okay, Tony from Chess Sharks, playing his usual Jobava London. Knight f3, a6. Bishop e2. Knight c6. And yeah, we're going to have a big fight in this one. Kind of classic Jobava London structure. I don't really trust this knight on c6 for black. I think often black wants to actually break with c5 in this position. So I have a feeling Tony is very, very, very comfortable here. Eigen's coworker is playing on board 20. Nice. We can definitely watch their game as well. Is your coworker Lee Sung Ju or James Truckee? Yeah, London, there's always, less tricks in the London. That's for sure. Okay, so here, white plays kind of a classic idea for this opening. He advances the knight to e5. And the point is that if black takes, he can either take with the bishop, which just keeps a little bit of pressure, trying to eventually trade those bishops off, or in this case, maybe de, and then black is going to have a hard time defending the pawn on d5. So, but in the meantime, white wants to take on c6 and ruin black's structure. So black already here has actually kind of an awkward choice to make. Maybe bishop d7. I'm not sure, because if bishop e6, for example, takes, and knight a4, this already seems really pleasant for white. Just the knight on c5 is very annoying. And if knight e4, for example, f3, and knight comes to c5. So this is kind of like white's dream here. So black takes and bishop takes. Okay, interesting. I mean, I thought pawn takes was kind of, I guess pawn takes, knight d7 is not so obvious. If white takes on d5, black will take on e5. Maybe white can try e6, the classic take, bishop d3. This kind of feels like nice compensation for white, no? Seems interesting. I'm not sure. But Tony knows what he's doing. He just takes with the bishop. And now I think white's idea is often when black castles, white is eventually just going to trade these off, try to break with g4. Maybe queen d2, castle, f3, g4, and we get this typical kind of queen side, king side, opposite sides castling situation. Okay, so go Tony. Looks like Dina's game has started. She's playing Grandmaster Flom. And okay, she's not at the board yet. She's on the way, guys. All right, she's on the way. I promise. We'll see what she has in store here. We've also got Emily Plays Chess, also with the Jobava London. So they're actually sitting right next to each other, which is very funny. But they've literally all made the same moves, except Tony included h4, h5. And black, of course, is played differently, but essentially playing the same plan. Black set up a little bit different. Here, bishop b4, castles, knight e5. So here, white has already castled the king side, so the attack is not going to be as strong right off the bat, but okay, another typical position for this London. Let's see, and then we got Kevin Skull. Oh, black played knight c6. Don't love this move. I would probably just promptly take and play the aforementioned knight a4. And then we can kick black's bishop with c3, with a3. We can clamp down with b4, and it looks like a great structure for white. Okay. So go Emily, go Tony. Dina still thinking, move 1. We also have Kevin. Kevin plays chess, Dr. Skull. And looks like he's going for... well, his opponent plays Queen's Indian, g3, bishop a6, Queen c2, bishop b7, bishop g2. So this Queen c2 move has always been considered pretty dangerous pawn sacrifice, because if black goes c5 here, white either has to give up the center or play d5, which is kind of a known known pawn sack. Knight takes d5 is a big... No, actually, knight takes d5 is okay. Without the bishop on b7, there would be queen e4 check. But here, black can take, white often castles, and then the idea is you get rook d1 in, you get knight c3, and it's kind of long-term pressure for white because black has this very backwards pawn on the d file. I'm not sure what the modern engines actually say about this one, but it's probably close to equal with best play. But this is a pretty sharp line, so we'll see if this is what Kevin has in mind. But if his opponent doesn't play c5, then white just pretty much gets a good version of like the Catalan kind of position, can castle and knight c3, b3, bishop b2, and so on. Okay, let's check out some of the top boards. Okay, board 1, we have Sicilian, knight c6, and e5, Kalashnikov. Ooh, I played this one recently. Knight b5. I guess black has other options here. You have a6, which is the Lowenthal Sicilian, where you give up your dark squared bishop and somehow try to use the lead in development. But I think we're going to see d6 here because, yeah, d6 is a bit more, nowadays a bit more respected. So Kalashnikov Sicilian is pretty sharp opening, but also pretty risky opening long term, right? Because you're always giving your opponent some clear targets for the pieces. So we'll see what Victor does here. He has many choices. c4 is definitely one of the most solid ones. And now black has different moves, but I think bishop e6 is pretty typical. There's g6. But I think the modern trend is to play bishop e6 here. Can I get the arrow? Have to use the mouse here to get the arrow. There we go. So black can often develop like bishop e6, g6, bishop g7, knight f6, and then we have some kind of Marazzi bind structure. Black has already played e5, which is considered really weird in the Marazzi, but here somehow it works. Don't ask me. You know, we're just following. You know, engine says move, we play move. You know, that's how it works. Engine says, all right, here you play bishop e6, you play bishop e6. Like, we don't ask questions anymore at the opening stage. We're just like, all right. It's like, you got it, whatever you want. g6 also okay. G6 also okay. But I think it's basically going for the same setup. Now, I was actually recently viciously tricked here by Lanier Dominguez because I played bishop e6 against him in a blitz game. He played bishop d3, I think. And no, actually, I did play g6. I'm not sure which of these moves is more accurate. g6 is probably maybe more correct. He played bishop d3. I played bishop g7. And then he played bishop e2. And it's like, oh, you can't do that. But now my pawn's hanging. It's like either I got to go king e7 or bishop f8. Both don't look good. I went knight d4. Boy goes bishop e3, knight e7. No, I think I took actually. Takes, knight e7, castles, knight c3, bishop e6. And I thought I'm actually doing okay here because I thought I'm getting d5 in. But then he goes queen a4. I go d5. Takes. And then here, okay, before he takes, I already realized, like, wait, after takes, if I go queen takes, it's rook fd1, and black's queen is just trapped. It's like, what? And so I got to take bishop takes d5. This is a blitz game, okay? And then rook d1, and black is losing because it's just, it's impossible to get out of the pin without losing material. So this is coming, bishop f3 is a threat. So it's just lost. And then he told me after the game, he knew all this, he knew all this. So anyways, that's my story. Here, white has many moves. You can go knight c3, you can go bishop e2, bishop d3, bring this knight back, bishop e3. So this one's still very much playing out. Okay, board 2. We have 2 more experienced grandmasters, Ehsan Gayamagami against Zhao Jinchao. Kind of classic fianchetto King's Indian English kind of thing. So early c5, inviting white to play d5, and then we get either a Benoni or kind of Benko thing with b5, depending on how black wants to play it. Knight f3 takes, castles, castles, knight c6, and queen a5. Okay, so black here goes for this kind of classic queen a5, queen h5 maneuver, which if white is not ready for is very kind of annoying, because then you want to go like d6 and bishop h3 and just get this like typical attack. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is supposed to be that dangerous for white, but he does have to deal with it somehow. So for example, well, the other idea is actually with queen a5, you're stopping white from playing b3, which is where the bishop wants to go. So it's also a bit annoying. So I think white often plays knight c2 here, if I'm not mistaken, and then like queen h5, either e3 or e4. I think this is pretty okay for white, and then white can just go for the endgame. But this endgame, I would say probably black is also fine. So what can you do? What's up, Pizza Racer? I know there's too much content out there. Actually, it's a big problem. I've been trying to convince everyone to make less content, but they're not listening. They're not listening. Yeah, what are you gonna do? Okay, so this one definitely very much still developing. Board 3, we have Bilal Belicine. Not sure if I'm saying it right. Belicine, maybe? Does anyone know? But he actually just recently won the African Championship. So he's the winner of an entire continent. He's playing Gabor Negi, who and they both have 4 out of 5. And this is Spanish opening, Rui Lopez, as the kids call it. Bishop e7, d3, b5, bishop drops back, d6. So white kind of goes for early d3. Like now, if he plays d4, it'll cost him extra tempo. So it's very much kind of a closed maneuvering game. So bishop e6, white takes on e6, b4, bishop g5. Generally, it's not supposed to be bad for black to have this structure. In fact, it's supposed to be kind of nice. But of course, these days, chess has changed a little bit. So, you can definitely try to take long-term advantage of the structural thing. But you need a good plan here as white, because black has very easy moves to make, like rook f7, rook af8, knight h5. They've got the open f file, and yeah, a lot of times queen also can go to e8 and e8 g6. Whoop. Oof. Okay, here we go. And yeah, then white also has to, well, white has ideas like to play on the queen side, queen b3. So this one I think will be kind of a maneuvering thing. Then we have international master Alexei Bilic against David Berses from Hungary. Another Rui, bishop c5, early bishop c5. I feel like this is also kind of trendy. Castles, knight d4, takes, simple chess, d4, c6. And now white is thinking about where to put the bishop. I guess this is like the most natural diagonal. And d5 doesn't seem to be a problem at all, because we can take and give check and take this one. And white's up a pawn and ahead in development can't be good for black. Unless computer disagrees, in which case it's fine. So bishop c4 seems to be most logical move. If d5 isn't working for black. And if d5 isn't working for black, then what is black's idea? Maybe he wants to take on d4. And if we take back, I mean, maybe there's some queen h5, but queen e7. So let's say we take back. Then maybe here d5 is now no problem. Because rook e1, there's knight e7, bishop b5, there's bishop d7. So I'm not sure if white can... Well, maybe white can be... Maybe white can be pretty annoying. Because if f6, then we would try takes, check, and check. But it's not clear if we really have enough here. Maybe enough for a draw, because queen h5 check, if knight g6, there's queen takes d5. Then king g8. I don't know, kind of complicated. Not sure if white has enough there. But if he doesn't do something like this, then black is basically fine. If we just trade and then go bishop g5, well, I don't know about fine, but yeah, maybe f6 again, black castles. It looks like black is okay. So he's spending some time. He's trying to figure out concretely if he's got any way to punish this. Okay, let's see Sebastian. Sebastian's the only IM with 4 points. He's playing GM Cordova. And we have Rosalimo. Nice. So Emilio playing a bit of a second line. I feel like main line here is a6, bishop f1, d5, which kind of often gives white just like a small edge. So I can see why he didn't really want to play this against lower rated opponent. But white just goes like c4 and it's pretty easy to play. So he goes for it's kind of a different setup, gives up the center. So white is definitely supposed to be better here, but this one is much more fighting. h6 play, g3, and now f6. A bit of a weird combination of moves. Yeah, exactly. Now we have a French structure. But normally it's not so good for black to play h6 and f6, because now, of course, knight on g6 is going to be loose. So let's say white takes, bishop d3 already. It's a bit unpleasant, right? My favorite. Yeah, no, I had a tournament in Granky where, okay, it's not like it was every game, but I played one game as white in the Rosalimo, and then I think I had like 3 as black. Brutal. Yeah, and it is not my favorite opening. Do not put it in the papers that it's my favorite opening. I don't know what's... So on bishop d3 right away, then black could go f5, and I don't know if this is good or not. I mean, maybe not. Maybe this is also white's better, because black is playing kind of a sideline. Like Compy is definitely giving white an edge in this one, but yeah. So takes, and bishop d3, and where is black going? Because, okay, queen e8, there's knight takes d5. First things first. If knight e7, then white has the e5 square. But I don't know if he can go knight e5 right away, because if knight takes d4, but maybe bishop c2. Queen d3 ideas, bishop f4, knight e5. Just black has backwards pawn. Pawn is weak. White is better, for sure. White should be better here. Okay, we'll see what Sebastian comes up with. And let's see what Vladimir is doing. Oh, now this is a Rossolimo. This is a Rossolimo. You can tell. You can tell right away. This is a pretty classic Rossolimo too. This is some Caruana Carlsen type stuff. So g6. This was like Magnus's big surprise in the match against Caruana. It was that he just like learned all these lines and systems and started playing them very, very well. And this was the first game that they had. Not sure about the exact move order, but it was very similar to this. f4 takes, rook takes, bishop e6. And yeah, in that original game, Carlsen castled queen side. He started attacking on the king side, and he was very close to winning, but they drew. It's a big save. But yeah, here this one is a pretty sharp position. I think Akopyan's experience here is going to be very, very useful for him, because I'm sure he's looked at these positions for many years now. Since 2018. He's always been a big theoretician, and yeah, I think he plays these. Definitely plays this for white quite a bit. So yeah, we'll see what happens. So I mean, okay, black's last move is a5. Basically, white's trying to like slowly build up. So rook af1, knight g4 somewhere. If allowed, e5 possibly. And then even knight e4. So that would be kind of like white's dream. Of course, there's tactics in the position, but if white is able to achieve all this, then they're going to be really happy, because they just start jumping all over the dark squares, and it's a problem. Black kind of first needs to figure out where to put the king, and then he wants to just kind of use his control over the center, like bishop e5, maybe g5, knight g6, get some counterplay on the king side. Yeah, let's see. Ilya against Gabriela, absolutely. This is board 14, so we'll keep an eye on the top boards. And okay, looks like a scotch. Ilya playing older line here. Queen e2, c4, b3, g6, bishop a3. Knight b4, bishop back to b2. e3, knight d5, knight d2. Castles and queenside castles. Oh boy. This is sharp stuff. Ilya is really going for it here. Very sharp. And yeah, I can't say I really know what's happening here at all. Okay, I have some ideas. White is probably going h4 somewhere. h4, h5. This seems like a big option for white. And black needs to play on the queen side, but also can play in the center against the e-pawn with rook e8 and d6 things. But yeah, this one's complicated. Not an easy middle game to play at all. Nope. Yeah, what does black do? I mean, so at some point this pin is going to be broken with queen e4, but maybe black starts with rook b8 or rook e8, playing for d6. I don't know if queen e4 We have to make sure our knight has a square somewhere. So knight b6. And yeah, I don't know. h4 maybe. It's such a crazy position to play. d5. Or could black take this? Wasn't the pawn hanging? Hold on. Just take the pawn. Okay, so knight f3. Hold on. We're starting to slowly figure this out. This is kind of what might happen. So knight f3. Still black could play d5. Say queen somewhere. Queen g4. Queen f4. Queen f4 maybe. Take. Here it looks like white's king is kind of starting to open up. So that might not be it. So rook e8. Maybe just knight f3. And black again can try d6. And I don't know. White's going to do something. Queen e4 maybe again. Yeah, very complicated. Very complicated. I have no idea what's going to happen. We'll keep an eye on it. I'm sure it's going to be quite sharp. Okay, looks like Dina's game has started. Her opponent also played London system. Man, I think it's like Saturday morning. Everyone's tired. Everyone's been out late enjoying the Vegas nightlife, and now they're everyone just showed up, decided to play London system. Just shut it down. No drama, no tactics in the openings. Solid stuff. Can't blunder. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how Dina handles this one. Nowadays, you got to be ready for the London. London is a big opening. So you have to know what you're doing against it. Let's go back to number 1 board. So bishop e2, bishop e6, bishop e3, knight d4. I've actually had this position, and I think white is, or I think black is already kind of doing okay here. Not sure if it's best to allow this knight to come into d4, because now black is ready to just take on e2. And then you get the bishop pair, and I think it's actually pretty reasonable for black, especially the light square bishop is going to be pretty useful in this structure, kind of hitting c4, and yeah, but I don't know. I mean, it's always tricky. It's always tricky. These structures are not so easy. But probably white should go knight c2 now. So there's like ideas: knight takes e2, queen takes, rook c8, b3, b5. Oop. And white's kind of feeling the pain of not having developed. Maybe knight d5. White is still all right here. Take. But it's yeah, pretty double-edged. It's spicy. It's open. Black has the bishop pair. White has a weakness as well. White has some squares. So pretty sharp. I think actually can go either way there. But Victor, a very solid player, so I bet he'll figure out what to do. You could go bishop d3 here, I'm thinking, even though it loses time, but at least you wouldn't give up your bishop. But then like rook c8, black really gets the jump on the c-pawn. So I think white really should have maybe played knight c2 here, so that on knight d4 could trade like this and not have to give up like the dark square bishop. I think this would have been maybe more accurate. But okay, let's see board 2. So this is where we'll leave off. Okay, knight cb5 played. So we side here with queen a5, knight cb5, knight b3, dance of the knights, huh? Knight d4, And black just trades. He's like, I'm not impressed. You have 2 knights on b3 and d4. I'll just trade one off. Now white's thinking, I think knight d4 is kind of the more natural way to recapture here, but maybe there's some thought to queen d4 and then queen h4, bishop h6. But it feels pretty solid. It's hard to see either player managing to create real chances here. Okay, board 3, we have this Italian Rui kind of game. Not much change here. And then some of these openings are kind of some of these openings are like spicy. Players are already thinking. So bishop c4, d6, queen b3. Oh, d6 black played. We were thinking maybe takes d5, trying to equalize right away, but no, black just goes d6, queen b3. Now black is thinking queen e7, queen f6. Queen e7 would be kind of like the most natural move, but then maybe white plays a4. You can't play a5 because the bishop hangs. And otherwise white is playing a5 and getting a lot of space. Seems like a decent position for white. Oh, how'd the knight get traded off in this game? Yeah, it was a little bit earlier. So it was Rui Lopez with bishop c5, which is pretty rare. Castles knight d4. And white just took and went c3 d4, which I thought is pretty logical. But yeah, I don't know, maybe castles is not the most accurate move. Maybe c3 is more ambitious, not allowing knight d4. So that's how we got here. So queen e7 played, bishop e3. Okay, so he doesn't even a4 him, which is very surprising. He didn't a4, a5 the guy. I would have a4, a5'd him, for sure. Because if you go a4, they can't go a5. You know, you have the initiative. You got the initiative. Okay, bishop e3. Now black is thinking. Knight f6 is the move you're going to want to play here. But here maybe white takes. Okay, I guess this is also annoying. And maybe white is just taking twice. And then if knight takes e4, rook e1, black's kind of behind in development, it seems. Queen here. And just try to win another pawn. So black, okay, asking some questions. Yeah, this is what we call asking questions. He's like, just asking, are you going to go knight f6 and allow these lines, or no? And so here David has to think a bit. He has to try to figure out whether he can make knight f6 work. So we'll see. We'll see. Probably he's got something there. Probably it's fine. Board 5. This is our French. So ef6, yeah, we were looking at this one. Bishop takes f6, bishop d3. I was saying looks really nice for white. Black goes rook takes f6. So defending the knight ahead of time. And white played h4, which is pretty thematic, just to play h5 and kick the knight back to where it came from. And then somewhere bishop d3, bishop c2, queen d3. So white here, I think pretty comfortable, but black also maybe got what they wanted. Board 6, we have this Rosalimo. This one is still basically getting into its stages. Queen c7, rook e1. And now maybe black could castle queenside. Not... Oh wait, queen c7 is white's move, sorry. So yeah, maybe white makes a move here like king h1, black can castle. And I think it's not so scary for black. I don't really see how white can crack the queenside. It's a very weird structure. Like you got this like semi bathtub with all the pawns advanced to square. But knight on c3 is dominated, and yeah, it's not clear where white can break. Okay, so let's go back. So here. Okay, we'll see what happens in this one. Let's see how Tatev is doing. Fianchetto, King's Indian, e5, takes, bishop g5, bishop e6, knight d5. This is kind of a drawish line. So now if black takes here. No, takes, I think, takes here. And a lot of pieces get traded off in this one. So this is... yeah, kind of hard to play for a win as black. c6, a3. And there's not much. Knight d4 I think is also possible. Was there a threat of bishop e5 in the last game? Let me go back. Oh, bishop e5. Well, yes, actually, maybe. I think that's like an exchange white is often willing to sacrifice, but I'm not sure if he is going to want to do it here, of course. So, yeah, maybe white should deal with it, knight g4. Because I think white would be happy to trade off this knight for either one of black's bishops. So I like this move. Knight f3 feels a bit flimsy because of g5. But knight g4 seems interesting. Oh, whoops. Here we go. The other move actually would be, no, d4 not really working. Black takes everything and takes on f4. I think black should be more or less fine, something like this. Their pieces seem pretty active. So white could also drop back just like rook f2. And then on bishop e5, well, actually here we're walking into this one. Bishop f4 though. And yeah, I think white keeps control. Okay, let's see. Streamers? How are the streamers doing? Dina went 97, e4. Trades, knight f5. And now white is thinking how to get something. I wonder if white's going to trade on f5 and try to use like the knight against the bishop, but somehow I feel like black is not doing that badly here. Despite the double pawns, the bishop I think is kind of okay. So maybe white is looking to see if he can achieve more here. Maybe like dc5, queen c2. 97, not the main line. Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't really looked at these positions too much. Let's check the time usage. So she spent something like 5 minutes on 97. So not clear. Yeah. DC looks interesting. Bishop c5, queen c2. And then black can't take on g3. And we have some active pieces. So here I would think maybe white's a bit better. So maybe DC. But that's tricky. Like maybe you know you're supposed to have a small edge or something, but now you have to find it. It's kind of tough. Yeah, b6, e4, bishop e7 is known line. I never really understood this one. Like it just looks weird. e5. And no, I think this is definitely a thing. Okay, bishop takes f5 played. Very interesting. So we'll see how white handles this one. Oh, it takes. Okay, so it's kind of my first instinct. He just goes for this. But yeah, I wasn't sure. I like DC a bit more once I started thinking about it. But maybe this is some grandmaster analysis. we're about to understand. Okay, let's see more games. Kevin Skull. Whoa. Did he get an extra pawn in this game? How did this happen? Like he started with 9 pawns. It looks like he started with 9 pawns. Dang. So he played the sharp queen c2 line against the queen's Indian. And now if black doesn't go c5 and force white to sacrifice a pawn, basically black ends up a little bit worse here at least. Knight d2, maybe knight. I think knight c3 actually would have been better, but okay. d5, knight e5, f4. Black takes, and now e4. He's just breaking with everything. Now I don't know how good this is for white actually. I mean, black can maybe take here and go c5, and start breaking up white structure. Oh, but then d5. No, everything's defended. Well, it's still complicated. b5. And how do we evaluate this position? I feel like knight d6, take. Yeah, this looks nice for white. This looks really nice for white. 2 bishops are working. This pawn is a possible target. We have a4 ideas. Yeah, but other than b5, I mean, hitting the knight, there's just nothing because white's ready to go d6, and yeah, it's that's gonna be really bad. So sharp stuff. Black just goes c6. Okay, well, c6 holds everything together, but it feels like white just has really nice space, and now it can just continue building up, like b3, bishop b2, rook d1, rook e1. So this is looking nice for white. He can also just take as many times on d5 as he wants. First the c pawn, obviously, so that you get the pawn cube. It's very important. And then after it takes, let's say take again, Take again. I think this is a nice structure for white, so he can already do this if he wants. Knight f3. You have open f-file, bishop f4. But he might keep the tension because it's also hard for black to move. So b3 keeping the tension, I think also very reasonable choice. Okay, we'll see how Kevin plays this one. Emily has gone for the g4 again. g4 bishop e4. f3 bishop back. House line, hello, hello. Jet lag's been okay. I've been waking up at like 6:30 in the morning. It's been all right. Going to sleep at a reasonable time. So g4 h4 takes on g6, and yeah, this position looking really nice for white. Because she has a very clear target on g6. Easy to attack. And this is live position. So let's see. Yeah, white looks comfortable here. Takes, you can take with the queen. Go g5. And yeah, black has weaknesses. Black has weaknesses. And we have easy plan like king h2, rook g1, g5, f4. White can also play. And just light him up. Okay, let's see Tony. And Tony's got the same structure. Same opening, same structure. Yeah, when the Jababa players get such positions out of the opening, they're not going to stop. Exactly, until people figure out how to deal with them. They're just going to keep going for this this attacking stuff. Hello, Izana. Hello, hello. Okay, so let's see how we got here. So, rook g8. Sign of a unhealthy opening. Queen d2. Queen d7. I just had flashbacks. Rook g8. Queen c6, rook e1, bishop d3, takes, pawn takes. So Tony playing positional. He wants more control over the center, which I think makes a lot of sense. And you get the open c file. Bishop h6. Now I think we're just going to see king b1, rook c1. Because black has to figure out how to evacuate their stuff here. Because if you bring the queen and go c6, then there's knight a4 and queen a5. And so this is a problem. All right, guys, this is a problem. Knight d7, queen a5. Take, I guess, check. Well, actually, this isn't, maybe not so special. I'm not sure. Take. We can go a haya. Knight c5. Unclear. Unclear. But also just like bishop drops back and then queen a5 is coming. So this king is potentially in danger. So king b1 played. Oh, and black goes knight d7 immediately. Okay. And now white either drops back or just continues the rook c1. I'd probably drop back. I think I would keep my bishop on this diagonal because I feel like it's really, really cutting black's king. Izan asks, I'm a beginner, trying to improve. Found out you've recommended logical chess move by move. Going to read it. What are your thoughts? Good. Sounds like a plan. 1 game a day, maybe 2. Play it out OTB. Definitely one of the best books if you're just getting into it and you're trying to learn some chess strategies. Oh, and Dosey Dos just started reading Simple Chess. Nice. Simple Chess also good book. Okay, Bishop H2. Tony backs it all the way up. All the way up. Actually, it's true. The farther away you back up the bishop, the more likely your opponent is to blunder that the bishop is still hitting this diagonal. Yeah, Jobava OP. Oh, and then we had Mr. Lee here, who was someone's coworker from the chat. Let's see how Lee's playing. Lee's playing aggressive repertoire in the French. Nice. But takes queen b6. Bishop c2 I think is not right, because knight b4. Queen a6. Maybe black could also just trade and go bishop b5. I think that would be very annoying, actually. Why can't castle? Just can't castle, bro. But queen a6, knight c3, same energy. Takes, rook c8. Bishop b3, knight e7, b4, knight f5. Queen b2. Yeah, seems actually kind of comfortable for black. I think our boy is under a bit of pressure. Like queen d3 black can play. Yeah, what are we doing on queen d3, guys? So knight d1, rook c2. GG. And otherwise, this guy's hanging. So queen d3 is actually like a big problem here. Big problem. Oh, played. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Our boy going down. So, yeah, bishop c2, I think, is not the right move. I mean, it makes sense. Like, you defend the pawn, but it just runs into knight b4. And, yeah, white doesn't get enough time to castle. So, yeah, bad luck. Oh, no, I think logical chess is good. Yeah, for sure. Especially for like a first book, I think that's a great one to start with. And then if you have more time, you can do puzzles or play games. I would say those are the most important things to do. But yeah, as far as books go, I just go with that one. And then after you finish that one, you can read his other book by Chernev, Most Instructive Games of Chess, which similar like annotations for every move. So yeah, I would take it like one book at a time. I wouldn't try to do too much too early. But you can always do like one book and then tactics. You can never really do enough tactics. Okay. Let's go around the horn, see where we're at. So board 1. We had this Kalashnikov, knight d4, takes light square bishop, rook c8, knight e7 back, knight c6, second knight comes into d4, and finally black castles. And yeah, I think it's like actually a pretty comfortable position for black. He can go f5, f4. White still has to figure out the c pawn. But if he goes b3, black can play b5. Because if c takes b5, there's rook takes c3 with the tactics. So otherwise, it's hard to just hold on to this pawn. You don't want to leave your knight on a3 forever. So b3, b5. Maybe white goes knight d5. But then take. And I think black is comfortable. Queen d7, f5. Knight on a3 is really not good for white. So Robbie looking like he's in control with black, but position is still decent enough, I think, for white. So he should have his chances. Okay, let's see this one. Okay, board 2. Board 2 is simplifying. D5, takes, knight B3, E6. I have a feeling Zhao is still wanting to keep this a game, but there's only so much he can do when your opponent just plays solidly. So we'll see. We'll see. How does white develop here? Rook to B1 maybe? And then bishop goes to like D2. Yeah, position is very symmetrical, so it also feels very, very drawish. Okay, let's check out a different board. Board 3. Bilal against Gabor. This one's a queenside struggle. So bishop E3, H6, C4 played. Queen C2, rook C8. And yeah, black is kind of getting ready for rook FC1 here, threatening CB. And played. And I think his idea was to play knight D8 without worrying about C takes B5, which is quite rational. I'm not sure I understand, Skeeter. Any tips on improving calculation? Well, it really depends on the level. But yeah, you got to solve good puzzles and practice good habits. So find good puzzles that are appropriate to your level, and then spend your time. Don't move the pieces around. Write down your solutions. Rinse and repeat. Try to be consistent, an hour a day. Why don't Chess Dojo have the Yusupov book series in their recommendations? Those are good books. And I think actually we're going to have a list of because we have the main books in the program, and then we have a list of supplemental books for tactics and stuff. And I think those will be on that list. As to why they're not on the main recommendations, there's a lot of good books. So it's actually hard. We actually argue all the time about how many books we should be recommending per cohort, because I can assure you there's many more books that we love that are not on the list, because it's just too much. We don't want to overload people with work. A lot of people they play 20 games a year and then they read a bunch of books, but they don't play enough, and so we have to really urge them to have an important balance to that. So around 1900 FIDE. So yeah, definitely need to get into some more advanced problems then, for sure. Well, you got okay, we have many recommendations on the site. Some people like them, some people not so much. There's woodpecker method is a good one for this level, because it forces you to kind of calculate all the variations out, and it's got good puzzles. But of course, yeah, there are many good puzzle books. So yeah, definitely requires practice. Then you have to figure out where your weakness is. Is your weakness in visualization? Is it in finding candidate moves? Is it in finding opponents' resources? Probably that one, because everyone has issues with that. And then yeah, you have to try to work on it. I haven't read the Kara's book. No. So some games very much like already developing. Other games, they're still kind of battling it out in the opening. So here, bishop e3. Yeah, we were thinking knight f6. Knight f6 is a daring move, and I mean, it kind of has to be played to develop. But d takes e5, and white's looking to take a pawn here on b6, I think. So I'm kind of curious how this is going to play out. Wow, 7,000 chess books? That's a lot. Here black is thinking, because, okay, d is the main move, but maybe knight takes e4 is also possible. Then knight takes d6, because then white's bishop on c4 ends up hanging. Knight d2, knight takes c4. Rook e1, knight e5. So he's probably thinking about knight e4 here. Well, let's look at this game. So rook f1 played by Vladimir, g5, and then knight d5. Dang. Knight d5. Okay, so if takey, bishop takes d5, bishop f4 check. And white wins the queen. So black goes queen d8, which maybe he had to. He didn't look like he could really take the knight, and then he covers knight f6 check. Chat saying Ted Wang playing at 99.1%. Folks, that's cool. I personally don't really want to know the engine right now because the players also don't know, and I think it's just kind of more interesting that way. Yeah, if you guys want to check that out, of course, please just keep it to yourselves. So, sharp game here. I wonder, like, can black keep the knight on d5? That's the big question. Actually, folks, I'm gonna take a really quick break. So we've been on for about an hour, and we will be back soon. More action from National Open. See you guys in a bit. Alrighty, folks, we are back with a guest. We have David here from the under 1700 section. Nice. And you just won your game. Is that right?
I did.
And how many points are you on now?
I'm on 3.5 out of 4.
3.5 out of 4. Nice. Doing well. Would you like to show the game?
Sure.
Or just play it out on this board?
So it started out with just a normal Italian. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and then bishop c4. And then he thought for a minute here and ended up playing like the main line with bishop c5.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually play the Evans Gambit, but I haven't looked at the theory in a while. So I was like, I sat here for a couple minutes, but I decided to go for b4.
Nice.
And
love it.
well, and like, I don't know if you have time on the stream for a mini 1-minute story, but
yes, please.
3 years ago, I won the under 1250 or under 1300 section with 6.5 out of 7. But my last game was the Evans Gambit on board 1, and so I have good memories with this opening.
Nice.
Anyway, so he accepted, and he took the Gambit, which I personally think you should. It's black, because if not, white just gets everything they want.
Mm-hmm.
And then I played c3.
Yeah, I think this is quite nice for white to
the
play.
main line is bishop a5, but he went bishop e7.
Mm-hmm.
So I was prepared for both. Like, I've looked at all. Like, you can pretty much, if you know what you're doing, play any bishop move almost. But I think bishop a5 is the most challenging.
Mm-hmm.
But he went bishop e7, and then I immediately went d4. And then he sat here for another minute and went. Now I gotta actually start looking at my sheet. D6.
D6.
And
Okay.
I'm trying to blank on the name. I know this one. I think it's the Bronstein defense.
Okay.
Or maybe that's with the bishop on a5 still, but I'm not good with opening names.
Mm-hmm.
So here I was like pretty sure theory was queen b3.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't 100% sure, so I wanted to make sure it wasn't a blunder because he obviously has knight a5.
Right.
And so I'm like, I need to make sure I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And so I did play queen b3. He did play knight a5. And I played bishop takes f7.
Right.
And then king f8. King f8. I should remember this, but...
Yeah. Now I guess we need to go queen
a4. And then I was a little nervous here, not really, because I know I didn't blunder like a piece or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But the line, I know I play this like queen b3 and then the knight comes a5 and queen a4 is after bishop a5. There's a line, not bishop a5, after... Maybe it is bishop a5. I don't know. There's another line where the knight goes to a5, and I thought I mixed up my lines, and I was like, with the bishop still on e7 and the pawn on d6, I was like, is this fine to give up the bishop pair? But I'm like, he'll take the bishop, I'll take the knight, and I get my pawn back if I really want to. So he ended up taking the bishop, and I took the knight.
Yeah, and you did get the pawn back, right? Because you took on f7.
Yeah, and so that's where I was like, I get the pawn back. I don't have like a bad pawn structure or anything, and he can't castle. So I'm going to gain some tempi for him trying to get that rook on
I think
h8.
it's pretty reasonable. Yeah, exactly.
So queen takes a5, and then he played e takes d4, which I was really happy to see, because then I just get to take back with the c pawn.
Sure.
And get my pawn from the center.
G5, yeah.
I'm going to castle. I have ideas with like knight g5. I can push the e pawn, and I felt really safe here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, he can't castle, so I'm like, there's no way I'm not better.
Yeah.
So I had a little bit of confidence, but with me, when I play over the board, not as much online, when I know I'm better is when I actually start to get more nervous. Like my heart starts pounding, and I'm like, so I have to get up and like walk around to reset a little bit. But so c takes d4, and then he played c6.
Mm-hmm.
E takes d4, c takes d4, c6, yeah. And then obviously I thought about the queen trade, but I thought it was a little preemptive because if I trade queens, I'm going to lose some of the advantages I have, because like my biggest advantage is development.
Yeah.
And if I trade queens, that doesn't mean as much. And his king, if anything, is more active.
Yeah, your king is safer.
So and then I'm like, okay, well, if I won't trade queens, I ruled that out pretty quick. I'm like, queen a4 looks a little tempting to put it on a light square, but what's the queen really doing there? And so my other option was queen d2 or queen c3. And d2 and c3 are the ones I was considering most, but I didn't want to block my knight's development square on c3.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up choosing queen d2.
Okay.
And after queen
d2,
d2,
queen h5 check. I'll just show the chat. g6.
And I did look at this too a little bit, but
Yeah.
I just didn't see. If I'm not careful, I actually get my queen trapped, I think.
No, basically we have one move, knight g5 check. Nothing else.
Yeah.
And
then I end up being able to get queen h4 to say, but I'm
But-
just like,
Yeah, it's a little.
it seems a little like it might be
a little
fine if I'm
fishy.
a computer, but I'm not.
Yeah. And I don't know. I'm not sure if it even works. So
yeah, that h6 looks scary. So I'm like,
you have to go back.
I didn't even go that far in my calculation. I'm just like, that looks like, why even try?
Right.
So I went with queen d2, and then this is where he blundered.
Oh.
At least I think. Maybe the computer will lie, or you'll see something that he can defend. But he played bishop g4. And I'm like, wait a minute. Don't I just have queen f4 check?
Yeah, he kind of walked right into that one,
And
didn't he?
I think he just saw knight f6, and he played knight f6 instantly. Well, I mean, obviously that's his best try, like he has to. And I think he stopped calculating there because he's like, oh, well, the bishop's defended. And then he was like, I'll trade the bishop. But my calculations here were like, I get e5, and if he takes my knight, I just take the knight and I'm threatening his bishop.
Yeah.
And then his queen, so I get to go up a piece. And that's what happened. And then here, he decided to take the pawn, I believe. Yeah, so he takes f6, and then bishop takes f6 back.
So yeah, knight f6, e5. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's.
Yeah, and I didn't see any other way for him to save the piece, or not any other way. I didn't see any way.
So one bummer is that on this one you just take with the knight.
And then I saw that. That's what I was hoping he would play, because I thought this would be a lot easier to convert.
It's just simple. Yeah.
It's just much simpler.
Same with the pawn. Then okay, black gets this one and queen d1, which is funny. But even here, you would just like recapture and you're still winning.
You're still winning them, yeah. And so he traded
none
first.
of it works. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I took the knight, and then he took the pawn with the bishop. And then I played queen takes f3, just because I'm like, I'm not going to double the pawns for absolutely no reason. And then I won't necessarily go through the whole game because it ended up being like 60 moves because he just waited his time. But there is one move I wanted to get to in a sec here. So queen takes f3, and then rook e8 check. And I just blocked with the bishop because I still want to be able to castle because queens are still on the board. And he played bishop. I played bishop e3. And here I thought he should. Maybe you're wrong. I thought he should go for queen a5 check. Because I would have to block with the knight. But his queen's more active. It delays me. Maybe actually I was seeing ghosts for myself. I thought I wasn't going to be able to castle necessarily. Maybe I'm missing something. Oh, when he can play... Here he can play bishop takes d4.
No, it's still pinned, right?
The bishop's... Oh, his bishop's pinned. Yeah, maybe that's what I missed. There's my lower rating showing.
No,
but I was just like... I thought for myself, I'm like, well, if he plays queen a5, I'm going to need to go for a deep think to make sure I cleanly convert because I didn't want to blunder anything.
Yeah, I would think maybe like this move, just to stop you from castling.
Keep the king in the middle, and I don't have very many pawns on the left side of the board, so it's like I just wanted to make sure. But he ended up playing king g8, which maybe was better because I think that's the move you immediately played.
Oh no, I just saw. I was.
Oh, you just saw it?
Yeah. So I just.
Yeah, and he played king g8, and for me, I thought that basically I just castle and then I have no problems at all.
Yeah, I think it's kind of over here.
Yeah, and basically I ended up playing. He tried for a few like back rank tricks later. We got to a end game where I had 2 rooks and a knight versus 2 rooks, and I just slowly won all the pawns, and it went pretty smooth. So. Nice,
good stuff. Yeah, Evan's Gambit. It's like it's dangerous if you're not like totally sure on what you're doing as black. You can just get kind of in trouble very quickly. Like here, black. Okay, they made one mistake, but already in like.
Well, I'm like
unpleasant position.
I'm not scared here. Like they don't have an attack.
Oh yeah.
And I got the pawn back, so it's like.
Yeah. No, we're white's.
I get everything I want. So.
Yeah.
Would you say like here already like he probably misplayed it slightly, where like because I feel like white has a significant advantage here, or am I over evaluating the?
No. I think white is definitely better. I'm not sure how much it is, like, because. Let's say if black gets a couple moves to castle by hand, then they'll be.
Well, and that's what I saw, and that's why I'm like, I didn't want to give him time because like, knight f6, rook f8, king g8 comes pretty quick if you don't do it. If I just stop doing anything, then he'll consolidate and be fine. I mean, maybe I'm still slightly better because I have a safer king without the pawn on f7, but even then, like he can use that rook to attack, so it's like.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It might be really nice for white. Well, actually, I think like. Not sure how bad this is for black. It's hard to say. But once he like takes, this feels.
Well, the move I thought was.
Feel good.
And I can't think of it offline. There is another line where knight a5 comes in, and you win the pawn, and the queen comes here with a check, or if he stops that check, you come to. Oh, I guess they can't see me pointing.
Yeah. That's
Sorry.
No, all good.
but it wasn't. So I was like, this. I was slightly. There was a voice in the back of my head saying, "Take your time. You might not be in the book theory you think you are."
Right.
And
That's
so
very
that's where I was
important.
like, I was blunder checking every move because I'm
Yeah.
like, don't have a fall. I've done that before, not as much in classical, but in like rapid, where I'm like, I just blitz out and I'm like, I think I'm in a line of theory, and the next thing I know, I'm like, wait, how am I dropping a piece? So, but if you're talking about the Evans Gambit, if you have 30 more seconds, if you want to go back to the beginning,
Sure.
I can show the chat like my favorite line that I wish he played. It's kind of a pet line. So after
Yeah, let's
bishop
see it.
takes, so d4, no, c3, and then bishop c5, and then d4, pawn takes, and then actually bishop check, and then you get king f1, and which like a lot of people as black are like, oh, that's just a bad move.
Right.
And it's not the absolute best. I think like eval here, according to the like Stockfish on, is like minus 0.1 maybe. But the most common move in this position is d6,
Yeah,
and it's just a blunder, and
point was
black's
pretty
already
good.
losing.
You're down a pawn. So d6.
And then you just play d5, and
Oops. Just check.
once the knight moves, you get the queen a4 check.
Nice.
And then, but there's like tons of lines in there, and they all like, no one seems to ever study the king f1 line when they play that. And when you get someone who doesn't know the theory, it's a very tempting line to go for black, because you're like, oh, white doesn't get the castle,
Yeah.
and or you get to trade a bishop and set of pieces, and you're still up a pawn. Just like, and then you play king f1, and they're like, they're in a big landmine field with only moves for a while. That's hard to find sometimes.
Yeah,
so.
it's kind of some new age chess stuff. Like in the past, yeah, that was just the conventional logic. Like, oh, white moved the king. Okay, clearly this
Clearly
has
it
not
worked,
worked
yeah.
out. Yeah. But now it's like, no, white still has a center. They'll castle by hand. You can use the rook with h4, and it's like, yeah, just completely different.
One, it's like
evaluation.
after that game a few years ago where I won the final round with the Evans Gambit, I actually misplayed the Evans Gambit, and my opponent was significantly better for a portion of the game, and then he misplayed it, and I was down 2 pawns. Computer said I was still winning, but I was over the board. I'm sitting there, and I was sinking on time. I was like head in the hands. I'm like, I'm just dead lost. I'm down 2 pawns. I have no attack. I didn't know it. When I put the game in the computer's like, oh, you're +2, and I'm like, what do you mean +2? And I actually sacked a piece to go for a draw, and I went for a position that was worse. I got a queen versus 2 rooks, but we were both like 1100s, and the queen tactically, he walked into a mating net, and I ended up winning. So it worked out. But after that, I told myself, I'm like, I need to actually learn a little bit more so I don't get in a worse position right away.
Right.
But
yeah, Evans Gambit OP, as they say.
Well, especially at our lower levels where
Right.
no one knows. Well, not no one, but like it's more of a, what's the term I'm thinking of?
It's a weapon.
It's a fighting pit down here where it's like
Yeah.
King's Gambits, Evans Gambits. They can be quite dangerous. So it's like.
Yeah.
But,
Well, thank you, David, for coming on.
thank you.
Best
and
of
I
luck.
already forget Kostya.
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 Yes,
Perfect. Well,
you
thank
got
you,
it.
Kostya, and thank you guys for listening to me ramble about my game.
I'm sure they enjoyed
Well,
it.
thank you, and you have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, best of luck to you. Okay, folks.
Have a good one.
Thank you too. Alrighty, folks. Thanks to our first guest. Let's see if we got some updates in our games. Queen d2. Okay, this is game 1, board 1. We last saw it here after knight d4. Knight e2 played, takes, queen c7, rook c1, rook d8. Queen d2, queen c6, f3. So these guys are fighting it out in this Marazzi kind of thing.
Who was that? Oh, he came in and he went that go to this car. Was why I stayed in there. Isn't that door locked? No, Kostya opened it and unlocked it now. It's over there. He was trying to come in and out.
And yeah, this one's still very much a fight, but I've been liking black's position. I like the 2 bishops, I like the light squared bishop. I don't like white's knight on a3. It's still solid for white, but once the knight moves, black will get b5 in and maybe even d5 one day. And okay, still in the range of equal, but Robbie's a very skilled player, so if there's something to pressure on, he'll manage. Forky chess. I might do some more calculation videos for sure. There's like tons and tons of content. But actually, right now we're working on our tactics trainer on the site, where we have kind of similar exercises to those as part of our tactics test. So that's kind of something we're building for the site. So that's not just a YouTube video. Hello, Icy. Hello. Good to see you. Okay, board 2. Board 2 was looking in-gamey. E4, knight b4, bishop e3. Takes. And right now, white's running bishop c5. And has his rooks connected. And so this is looking like a little more comfortable for white, I have to say. White's pawns are hanging, but bishop c5 is a problem. So I'm not really sure how black is supposed to exactly equalize here. Feels kind of unpleasant. Oh, let's go to board 3. Rook c1 and a4. Bilal really just, wow. Making it easy. Making it look very easy. This is the current African champion. And Gabor goes a5. Mamma mia, as they say in Italy. But how does this work? After a takes b5, a takes b4, won't he be able to pick up this pawn? Or is black saying, because d5 is not a thing, there'll be knight takes e5. Is black saying he's going to go c5? Takes, knight takes. Probably this is his idea. Wow. So what if white goes c takes b5 though? A takes b4 and then queen b3? Here if black plays c5, white gets 2 protected passers. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Very complicated. But if you go knight d2, trying to play knight c4, black can go d5. Yeah, hard to call this one, hard to judge. So a5, very sharp. So b takes a5, also an option. And I think black's going to take on c4. Leave us with 2 weak a pawns and then maybe just win it back right away. I think this would be okay for black too. I was just thinking about takes and c5. Because here I'm trying to get rid of this d6 pawn so I can take on e5. But I don't know, maybe queen takes b5? Take? Bishop takes and everything's defended. So, not so obvious how white plays this one. Okay, I have another idea. Maybe takes, and then d4. Pawn play, huh? So many options with the pawn play. So here I'm trying to like activate my knight from e2, which so far has been problematic. This one starts to look a little nice for white. I mean, black's pieces are a bit backed up. If takes, knight takes. If e5, we have knight c6 or knight f5. Not sure. Knight f5, let's say. Yeah, this I think would be really nice for white. Queen b3 check. Okay, so my vote is on take and d4. Oh, and Bilal, he's tanking here, so he's using his time to try to figure this out. Will be interesting to see what happens there. I want to go back to this game. What was going on here? So this one was DED. White snagged the pawn, knight e4, and drops back. Okay, I think when black castles here, he's going to be more or less fine. So this one doesn't seem too sharp. Oh, then we got the French. We got the a Capian game. What was going on here? Oh, this was the knight d5, queen d8, and c4. Oh, he just establishes that knight. Yeah, because still black can't really take because it takes, and bishop takes g5. So knight g6 played. d4. Takes, bishop takes, takes, queen takes, takes. Oh, and he accepts this piece. Whoa, whoa, whoa. d4 takes, takes. Oh, thank you. Takes, takes. And he takes on d5. At this point, I guess black had, like, not a lot of choices because white has knight f6 check in the air. But he takes this one. Now after ed, his idea might be to just castle because the pawn is pinned. So white's not winning the piece back right away. But it's still, wow, very sharp position, huh? And how exactly is white getting the compensation here? Folks, this is on the board. C takes d5. And he hasn't recaptured yet. Because he's maybe thinking about cd5. Maybe it's helpful to have an extra pawn in the center. But, of course, naturally you would want to open up your rook. Let's just go back. So knight g6, I mean, white played d4, so he could have retreated his knight if he wanted to, but he decided, like, you know what, I'm still okay. But did he possibly forget that his queen is going to be hanging on d4? Because on this one, castles. And it feels like black's extra piece is very much, it's only one pawn right now. Uh-oh. Vladimir might be in trouble. Yo. Okay, he takes with the c pawn. I think he's going for a plan B here, just trying to use the e pawn break with e6, because with ed it wasn't clear what was going to happen there. But now black can still castle if he wants to. Maybe he has other moves. Let's see, if castles, guessing white moves the queen somewhere, maybe queen c3. Say bishop d7, e5, and then white tries to break with e6, knight g4, and there's still definitely some chances here for white, because black's king is never going to feel fully comfortable, but really doesn't seem like it should be enough. Okay, so Vladimir might be in trouble. Let's keep checking more games. let's see. We had this. We had the Scotch with Ilya and Antova. 92 castles. D6 played. Queen e4. Knight b6. f4. Rook e8. Queen takes c6. Ilya grabbing a pawn with his usual hour and 15 minutes on the clock, despite being in a complicated situation. And Antova down to 23 minutes already. So she is burning a lot of time. And of course she meant to sacrifice this pawn, but well, now she's thinking, should she just try to take on e5 or play. So actually I don't know if this is actually a pawn sacrifice. Maybe black is just getting their pawn back. Pizza Racer in Sweden. Sweden, great country. c5. So Ilya taking space. Now hitting the knight and the bishop. Probably black is going to have to go bishop takes f1 here. And maybe rook takes. And yeah, I don't know. It's hard to find good square for the knight. Knight d7. Perhaps white goes b4 or even knight e4. Maybe b4. It's very double-edged. I don't know why white's queen is active, but black is going to open things up with a5. I feel like things can kind of go either way here. Oh, does knight take f1 win? Oh, knight takes. That would be tricky, opening up the rook. Thank you. Oh, and then there's... Oh, I thought there would be knight c8, but no. Oh, this is a problem. Uh-oh. Oh, this is a problem then. Oh, man, this queen c6 and c5 is just killer. Oh, and Ilya's already seen it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Bishop takes f1 on the board. Knight takes f1. And what's black's move? Knight f1, and what's the move? Okay, I have a question. I have an answer now for white's winning. White's winning. There's rook ac8. Thank you. I see, with the resourcefulness. So knight f1, rook ac8 she can still play. Okay, for sure she sees this one. But yeah, then all white needs to do is retreat the queen somewhere, or king b1, let's say. Knight has to go back to a8. And that's not good. That is not good. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm definitely not saying it's good. Maybe I would even try f5 here. It takes, and knight g3. There's rook d7 in the position, and f5, queen e6, queen drops back, and then we're taking on f5. Yeah, I mean, it looks much better for white. It looks much better. I don't know if it's exactly winning yet, but... Wait. Yeah? Okay. Ilya played rook takes f1. Okay, he sees something even better. So on knight d7, what does he want here exactly? Knight somewhere? Knight f3? No, but pawn on c5 is hanging. Maybe knight e4. Then takes. This feels like black is Black is kind of alright here, getting counterplay. So what is he wanting? B4? I don't know. I'm a bit confused. Knight d7. Antova also wants to know, what's the plan, Stan? B4 or 94, I guess. I don't see another, but 94, EF4. Yeah, it doesn't look so clear. Okay, should we wait or should we jump to another game? Do we wait for Ilya to show us, or do we keep looking around? Oh, let's jump to the streamers. Okay, Kevin Skull had this Catalan with e4, c6, knight f3, okay, a5, bishop e3, takes, and I'm gonna say he sacrifices the exchange. I'm not sure if that's true, but I'm gonna say that's what happened. And wait, bishop e5 here. He got a piece. I see. So this has been very sharp. So now he has two pieces for the rook, which his opponent very controversially sacrificed. And Black does have some play here, but I have a feeling that this is I don't know. I feel like this might be good for White. Like, if Black's play runs out, then White is definitely very happy with the two bishops. Okay. So go Kevin. He's in check. Maybe we can calculate this real quick. Let's say king e2. Perhaps Black has enough checks here for a perpetual. I definitely don't see more than that, but I think at least Black has a perp. If king e1, rook c1. Yeah, is always annoying. Here. This one's always a problem because if we block, there's rook takes bishop at the end. So, and otherwise we get mated either on g2 or on e2. So this might be heading towards a draw. If bishop f4, there's g5. Or actually rook takes d2 first. Actually, it's just okay. What are we? There's no need for g5. So I think king e2, king f2, and White's just gonna have to make a draw here, which maybe he should be happy with, given he gave up the exchange. I'm not sure. Yeah, it was totally so justified. Okay, more streamers. Let's see, Dina. Dina was facing this middle game, knight versus bishop. And it seems like White is... yeah, White is putting pressure. And ooh, Dina and her time trouble. Almost an hour down on the clock. That's not going to be good. That's a problem. That's a problem. So, yeah, here White is looking good. Putting all the pieces on dark squares. Structure is nicer. Very unpleasant for Black. Maybe she can go like rook b6 and b4. Maybe b4 right away. But issue is, yeah, it just kind of feels like the king is a bit loose. h5, the rook gets in at some point. So I'm not sure. Yeah, and she's like really down on the clock. So that's the other difficult thing about Black's position. So, oh, and there's no. Well, b4 seems to be risky because White trades in knight e6. And we have some moves here, maybe like queen e7 is a move, but queen takes f5 or queen takes b4. Yeah, so white's just at least winning a pawn here. Okay, so b4 is not working. Maybe black should start with rook b6 to prepare b4 with counterplay. But white wants to go h5 and h6, and that is a really annoying pawn to deal with. So maybe black goes h6. And then white can start building up like rook e3, rook a e1, rook e7, rook g3. Yeah, again, kind of feels unpleasant, but we'll see how Dina defends. Let's see. Then we got Tony. Oh, Tony. Tony from the Chess Sharks. Look at this. You got rook c1, knight a8, defending c7. So he didn't just do it for fun. He had to defend c7. But knight e4. Dang, he comes in with this one. Rook c5, knight g5. Playing like Fallujah here. Rook c1, rook d7, a4, a5. Oh boy. It looks like white's position is so good. But still he has to break through. He needs to not lose his mind and like sacrifice a rook. Tony loves to sacrifice. He goes for it. Yeah, I think white should be able to keep building up here and eventually break through. Maybe e4. Well, e4 runs into f6 always, so got to be careful. Maybe queen c3, e4, and then try to crack this way. Yeah, it's not looking good for black. I think white is just one-way traffic here. Okay, so go Tony. Let's check in on Emily. Ooh, Emily's position has gone in a bit sour. What happened here? Queen g3 takes, h5 takes, knight f5. So here white made a mistake with this h5, allowing black to trade off a weakness and then giving black this very nice f5 square. And now black actually is very much taking over on the king side. Ooh, bummer. So yeah, we're 2 pawns down here on this one, but all right, we'll keep pulling for Emily. And let's go back some of our other boards. We saw Tadev's game earlier. Knight d5, rook e8 played. Knight d2 takes on d5, knight e7, e4, c6, queen b3. Okay. This one actually looking a little bit more pleasant for white, but I think black is still pretty much okay here. But yeah, white has the 2 bishops. Center is kind of closed, but white has a pretty open and free position. Rook fd1, rook ac1, knight c4 you can play, some d6 ideas. Whereas for black it's tough because like you don't really want to start taking and opening up the light squared bishop here for white. So not quite sure if this has gone all right for us. Maybe h6 is something. Bishop e3, knight g4, but yeah, white to play right now, so white has a move to make the most of it. Okay, let's take a quick look at the top boards. Here we have the Kalashnikov, f5 played, takes, bishop takes. A lot of times you would take with the pawn here, but maybe black didn't want to open up the king and allow bishop h6 stuff. So he takes with the bishop, which is definitely very possible, and looks comfortable for black, but can he actually start generating winning chances here is going to be very interesting to see. I'm always not sure about these positions. Like I think black is a little bit more comfortable, a little bit better, but yeah, he's going to have to find some way to break through. Against, yeah, white's going b3 soon, knight c2, and white has the healthier structure now because black has 3 pawn islands versus 2. So white here has some trumps as well. Okay, board 2. Here, white was also kind of trying to push this endgame. f4, e5, f5. And black is kind of struggling here because how do you develop the bishop? Bishop can't move. b6 is taken. b5 allows knight c5. And then you're still kind of under pressure. So Zhao Jinchao here actually with some questions to answer. He is wanted for questioning here on board 3. He goes rook e8. He's like, all right, I'm not developing my bishop. I'm just going rook e8, maybe bishop f8 somewhere if needed. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? But this looks like nice play for white. Okay, then we have board 3. Oh, board 3. This was the big a5 decision. How did he deal with this one? So he went a b5. I thought c b5 was the play. A takes b4 and then d4, but no, he goes a b5. And Bilal has something up his sleeve. A takes b4 and rook a4. So he is just going for the pawn, but c5. c5. This was black's idea, to hold on to the pawn. If en passant, which in some circles is forced, then knight takes c6. Pawn on b4 looks pretty healthy. Black maybe even goes d5 somewhere. But if you don't take on c6, then of course b4 pawn is safe. But maybe white just wants to say that his b pawn is stronger than black's b pawn. I don't know if he has that right, but of course he can say it. So rook a1, queen b7, queen a2. He does get the a file though. So rook a1, queen a2. Forces black to give up the a file. Knight d7, queen a7. Now actually does feel like white is putting on the squeeze here. Does feel like white is a bit better. You cannot take because rook takes a7, and no good way of defending both pieces. That's what we call a skewer in the business. So black is going to have to do something like rook b8. And then white's going to have to figure out how to press from here. Okay, folks, I'm going to take another quick break here. And yeah, we'll be back with more commentary from Vegas 2025 National Open. So stay tuned. See you all in a bit. Welcome back, folks. National Open, round 6. Games are heating up. I was actually just watching this game between Nizhnik and Antova. Two St. Louis players. And here I thought Nizhnik was doing well. E takes f4, he took on g7. Queen takes c7. Rook c8. Queen takes f4, white's up a pawn, and boom. Here came the hammer. Knight takes c5. So Antova sacrificing a piece. If takes, queen takes c5 check. King b2. And black's attack here, very, very strong. Maybe rook b8. Maybe queen c3. Black having at least a draw here, but I feel like more is possible. For example, check and rook c3. And white's king in huge danger here. So white play queen d4 check, takes, but rook takes c5. Rook e8 played, rook b5 check, king a2 and queen c7. Now threatening queen c2, and there's no rook c1 because a rook takes d2. More moves coming in. So rook c1 played anyway because white seemingly had no defense to queen c2 check. But now rook takes d2. Oh, and just queen e5 check, trading the queens off. Takes, check. Now black is up one pawn, but rooks are potentially coming to the 7th rank. Rook c7 played. Now the question is, can black get away with rook e2? Looked very good for black. I wonder if queen e5 check was the best she could have done. Of course, we have to be careful about the back rank, but maybe queen b8 might have been very annoying just playing for checkmate. Okay, rook f5 played, but black's still very much playing for two results. After white trades rooks, the 2nd rank is a problem for white, and black's f pawn is very fast. It's faster than white's a pawn. So maybe some nice chances here for Antova to pull off the upset. Hello, Bird IA. Hello. Okay, let's catch up with some of the other action. So board 2, actually, we had a draw. Board 2, I thought Ehsan Magami was pressing here, but b5, a3 draw offered. I guess on, let's go to the end. On bishop b7, white always has rook d7 or knight c5. But I thought white is better here, but maybe not so simple. Did black have rook a5? Yeah, 7th rank problems, exactly. Let's go to board 1. And b3. Okay, this was the Kalashnikov, where I thought black was doing comfortable, but white gets bishop h6. Black avoids the trade of bishops, queen e3, and position is still actually very, very double-edged. Because black has the 2 bishops, those are pretty nice, but white has this knight on a3 that if we can get back into the game would be good. Oh, but there goes d5. So Robbie's patience has run out. he's going d5. And now what happens here? So takes on d5. Guessing he's going to go rook takes c1 just to get one of white's pieces off. Bishop takes d5. It's hard to say. I mean, because white is able to kind of bring the knight back in, like knight c4. And we definitely don't want to trade on c4. So, not sure what his plan is here. We have Kevin. Kevin, one of our streamers, finished his game. Let's see. Actually, we were looking at the game a bit. I don't know the results.
I'm here for my chest therapy.
How'd it go? Oh, okay. Not good?
What? Why would you say that? Okay. So I thought it was a genius. And I thought in this position.
Oh, wait, let's get you. Oh, yeah, you're in. You're in. Cool.
Okay, actually, not this position. Go back like 2 minutes.
Yeah, so this is Kevin, everybody. Kevin Skull.
Hello.
Podcaster. You had a nice opening. And then, okay, basically, all right. I mean, we had to know. We had to ask the question, of course. Takes, queen takes.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
This sacrifice?
No.
No, okay. So that changes, the psychology of the
no, it was not a sacrifice.
situation.
I didn't think it was so bad at first, but then I realized that, like, pawn cluster in the middle suddenly... Like, at first, I was playing as if that was going to be a strength of mine. Like, I might double rooks on the F-file, and I had, like, a Pillsbury-style attack. And then after this era, it was kind of like, okay, now if we could just not lose, that would be awesome. But it seems unlikely.
Yeah, I mean...
But then he went for this wild move that...
And then, he gives you the knight.
I was like, wait, what? Is he giving me the knight, or does he just have a lot of compensation for it? I couldn't quite figure it out. He looked surprised by my king F2 move, guarding both pieces. I think he thought, like, it's a double attack.
Maybe missed it.
And then I win.
Yeah, maybe missed it.
But he did have a lot. Like, this got really challenging.
A lot of pressure here. A3. Check. And then I thought it was going to be a draw, but he just
said no.
He goes Rick C1.
Yeah. Okay, so here's where I thought it was a genius. I was like, okay. Okay, not yet. Not a genius yet. After this, I figured he'd go there, and then I could do my bishop move. And then after he takes, I go king g2, and I win one of the pieces. There is a problem, though. That square is still covered by the... Even though my bishop is covering that square, it is not directly covering that square.
So it goes rook h1, huh?
Yeah, and then that was kind of it.
And then
things got very, very messy.
Queen e1?
Yeah.
Now the king, looks really in big trouble.
And he was able to sack the exchange and then pick up the rook, and it just...
Oh, I see. So just immediately.
Yeah. And I saw all that, but it was like, at that point, what am I supposed to do?
Dang, bummer.
Yeah, it was an interesting one. I'm curious to know if I was even winning after I win the piece.
So, I mean, to me it looked like all these moves were very straightforward.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So, basically means, okay, maybe a3.
Yeah, maybe I have a better move here.
Because the issue for white in a lot of these lines is that your bishop's hanging on d7, so, like, maybe this might have been a more useful move.
Can he pick up the... No, he can't pick up the pawn yet.
Yeah, he could take here and do this, and this might be a problem actually if we don't have a good move. Like queen d1, and I'm not totally sure. It doesn't feel over actually. It feels like you're.
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe I can hold on.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. But of course, I actually really liked your opening. I thought, you should be doing well here.
Okay, so you thought this was reasonable. So I had read recently about Pillsbury attacks, right? And I was like, I think I can kind of make something like
definitely.
that happen.
Well, okay, here I probably would have just put the knight on c3. Because it's better on c3 and there's no drawback.
Okay, so the problem there, this is the issue, right? Okay, I had found a problem. I'm really good at finding problems that don't exist.
Yeah.
Maybe it was d5 I was worried about here.
Then
d5.
Oh, d5. Sorry.
And then.
So knight e5, you do the same.
Well, that's true. And then after he takes, I could just take back that way if I want to.
Like knight d7 and maybe the same f4.
Okay, but now he takes.
Mm-hmm.
I take, and then he takes the pawn.
Oh, but this guy's always hanging. Oh,
He
or
is.
this one too.
Maybe I didn't see deeply enough.
Yeah, I think this is okay. I think what you did is more or less fine. But here, like, knight f3.
Okay, yeah. So let's go back there. That was a critical move. I couldn't figure out what to do with the knight. What I wanted to do was just disappear him for a few moves, get the bishop out, and then just put him back.
You could play b3 and just put the bishop on b2. I think it would be.
I was tempted to do that, but I thought, the bishop's behind this wall of pawns. It's not that great. Plus, I have dreams, Kostya, of the attack. I really considered rook f2, knight f1, knight, I don't know, d3 maybe.
I guess here's how I would see it. You have this massive pawns in the center. If black doesn't find a way to break this up and challenge it, you're good. Just get the rooks in and you'll build up.
Yeah.
If they do find a way to challenge it, then that means your bishop on b2 will open up.
Okay.
Because then it's extremely well placed when the position does open up. So I feel like this is kind of the dream. Whereas the bishop on e3, like it can kind of get in the way a little bit. Although I'm sure it's fine too. But here maybe b3 was needed.
I think part of my problem in this game is that once I had in my head, like, okay, the knight is kind of misplaced for them and can't defend, I'm going to be able to attack. I had a hard time sort of just being like, okay, no, let's just play for, like, I've got a big center and just say that's my advantage.
Right.
That's something I sort of struggle with, is like once I decide I'm the attacker and I'm going for the king, then it will happen. And I almost always lose when I do it. Shocking.
Yeah, you gotta, unfortunately, play according to the demands of the position. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Another option I was thinking for you here is actually just to take. First, you get the pawn cube, so that's achievement unlocked. And then
Ditsky's beloved pawn cube.
Eventually, you do leave black with this weak pawn on d5. And here I think you get a very harmonious position because your pieces now like all get good squares, and the pawn on d5 is isolated, and and the knight on d7 is like really poor for black because it's just doesn't it's not clear where it's going. And when you have queen b3, bishop comes out, you still have your open f file. But yeah, it's a positional pull. It's not like you're getting an attack very, very quickly. But eventually, sure, like you build up on the f pawn.
Yeah. What great suggestions. Can you do this during my next game? It would be really helpful.
I am doing it during your games.
No,
just you're not.
I can hear it.
Yeah, you need like an earpiece.
I feel like that's not allowed, actually.
Right. Yeah. Well, sorry about your game.
It's okay. It's okay. Clifton was a wonderful man. Yeah. It was funny. He sat down, and he's an older gentleman, and he was like, "Are we on camera?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Okay, because I lose on camera." And I was like, "Dina, can you adjust the camera so it's just me this time?"
I can bring one. That's funny.
So, oh well. I gotta share this. Sitting next to Dina is very interesting. Last night especially, she had like this, what I've read about Kasparov's like lion energy, and it was kind of scary. I wasn't even playing her, and I was like, oh man, like
She's
Dina
intense.
is professional and intense.
Yeah.
And I'm just like this random guy sitting next to her. So it was interesting.
Yeah. No, it's funny.
How's she doing now?
She was kind of defending under pressure.
Okay.
I would say still under pressure, especially on the clock and on the position. So
Okay. That looks tough.
Yeah, it's a sharp one.
When I glanced over the last time, she looked fine, but maybe I didn't glance correctly, or maybe it was a while ago.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah, it doesn't look too fun right now.
Okay. Well, you got this, Tina.
Yeah, go.
How's her friend Emily doing? Is she done yet? No.
Emily was in trouble.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, she was behind. She was behind. Tony was doing well. Well.
Okay, good.
Tony was killing it. Yeah. We like Tony's position.
Tony's always killing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He knows his stuff.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. Okay. Well, good luck with the games.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on, Kevin. Best of luck.
No problem. Thank you. I'll see you after I lose the next
Hopefully
round.
see you again. this guy back. Get back in here. So that was one of our streamers, folks, who unfortunately lost the game. And in the meantime, looks like, oh, after rook f5, Ilya just resigned, which is actually kind of surprising. You think there was still some play here, but maybe he just calculated actually that this rook endgame was a problem. So takes. If rook a7 takes here, rook a5, king comes up, and this f pawn is a real bummer for white. Okay, f2, king e2, maybe just like take here first, and yeah, maybe he just like kind of disgusted with himself, didn't want to play this out. But great win for Antova. I mean, she pulls a huge upset here over Grandmaster Nizhnik. Yeah. Oh, hey, Undefining. Play 2 games in 1 day for the first time ever. Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal. Two rounds per day. It's like, hey, do you want to play a full chess game and then use all your energy and then play another one right after that? Absolutely brutal. Akopian down a piece against Wang. He did sacrifice a piece, but it was very, very tricky compensation. So let's go back. We saw it here when he had sacrificed with knight d5, and originally black couldn't take it, but then after d4, all of a sudden black could take it, and black did take it. So he goes cd5, rook f6, and basically, yeah, just trying to build the attack here. But queen c5, white forces the endgame, and he allowed it because queen c7, white could have played king h1 here. So he decided like he's got no choice, but he has to allow the endgame. Now he goes e6, queen d4, knight takes d4, king g7. The 2 pawns are pretty strong for white, but of course it's a piece for black. And now, what's going on? If he brings the rook over to f1, black can take on e6. It's just 1 pawn. It's just 1 pawn for the piece. And can't take back because of rook f6. If we take here, knight takes. So black is ready to take on e6 after king g7. Vladimir in trouble here. I don't see how he's what he's doing here. It might be really bad for the top seed. I'm not seeing a move for white. If d6, I think you just take. e7, rook e8. Everything's blocked. So he's looking for some chance. He's looking for anything he can do, but I'm having a very hard time coming up with ideas here. If pieces start coming off, then white just has no compensation. It's just a piece up. An easy win for black. So Summer, he must have miscalculated, yeah, to end up in this situation. So it might be another big upset brewing here. I'm not seeing a move. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Let's go to board 1. Here we have the d5 break, knight c4, bishop f6, bishop here, and black to play. Knight d6, not an option, I think, because of rook takes c1. And if knight takes queen, then we're taking this with check. And that seems to be quite alright for black. So bishop g5 played, offering the bishop trade. And I don't think black wants to trade bishops here. I think if we trade bishops, then black is clearly worse. So, yeah, somehow I don't really like this d5 break that Robbie went for, because it feels like he let the knight back into the game, and now white has kind of a nice grip. So I wonder if we'll get some kind of repetition here. Bishop g7, bishop h6. I don't think he will trade. But yeah, he's got a bit of a time advantage, so 38 minutes on the clock to figure it out. Board 3, another GM battle, Bilal against Gabornagi. And here white was pushing on the a file. Wow, this was a big grind. They made a lot of moves here. We got this endgame, knight b3, rook a7, rook back. And white is just slowly squeezing. And black here, it's funny, cannot challenge for the a file. Just has no way of rearranging his pieces. So he's just moving back and forth. Knight f1 play, knight g3 coming. Black goes g5, h5, provoking g5. So he's going to say that white has no way to break through here. After knight g3, g6. He might be right. I mean, this one looks potentially very drawish, but white's certainly the one trying to score here. So, interesting position. Board 4. We had opposite sides castling in this one, and isolated pawn on e5 for black. So, but a lot of extra time for white. And again, David Bursey's relying on the increment to figure this out. Man, a lot of sharp games coming up. Oh, and then this game, Sebastian against Emilio Cordova. This one was crazy because we had this French, and then black just straight up sacrificed the piece. Real sacrifice. Bishop takes g3. He does not get the piece back. Knight f3, rook f8, bishop f2, bishop h4, rook f5, and very surprised Emilio went for this because it seems like kind of a slow burn sacrifice. Very risky, but he seems to think he had enough. Knight e5 takes. Now, if de, seems like black won't be able to go rook e5. Maybe he has queen c5 check. So rook e5, we're taking on e7. That's 2 pieces for whites. So white here thinking either de5 or maybe rook e5 also possible. Rook e5 might be even more technical, just trying to trade more pieces to get rooks off the board. So white's trying to use the extra piece. So another upset chance here for Sebastian Kostolansky from Slovakia. So we're keeping an eye on a number of games here. And this one, Vladimir is still thinking after king g7. He's big trouble. How to generate any counterplay for the piece. It's really hard to say. Let's see some of these games we haven't really looked at yet. We have Ming Lu against Armin Mikhailian, another Grandmaster, and this was Accelerated Dragon. Oh, bishop takes c4. Dang, sacrifice on the board. Wow. B takes c4, rook takes c4 is happening. And then the knight is hit, and black wants to take on e4. So if knight e2, you have rook takes e4, you have knight takes e4, maybe even stronger. And black has 3 pawns for the piece and is taking the rook. So that's a lot of material. Wow, very nice. So this is probably winning for black. Bishop takes c4. Well, Grandmaster showing his stuff. Actually, we already have a win on board 10. Wow. Bishop a5. Dang. So many moves played here. Let's see what happened here. This was the game Pavel Blatny against Grandmaster Melikachin. A couple of veteran Grandmasters. This was like a London system where White Castle's queenside, but it looks like the king opened up, similar to that game with Nizhnik and Antova. And Black just getting tons of counterplay. Ooh, exchange sack. And the wins the rook on g2. Very nice. From here, rest was technique. Okay, gives another check, gives another check. Bishop d8. So he's not rushing to take on d4. f5 gets the counterplay going. And now he finds nice finish. Bishop a5. Ooh, killer. Takes queen e1. Very nice. Okay, then we have this endgame. Grandmaster Christian Cruz taking on IM. Extra pawn, knight versus bishop. Definitely some chances here for white. Probably winning in practice just because his extra pawn looks very comfortable. Okay, board 9. National Master Omid Khaledi against IM Samrug. And Omid's position actually looking very nice here. He's down. White's down a pawn, but he just got black to double his pawns on f6. So this d5 was some sacrifice, some home cooking. Interesting move. Takes bishop h3. So queen b5, knight e4. Takes. Gf, and now it's white to play, and yeah, white's position looks super promising. Rook d1, rook d4, rook g4, rook h4. Queen comes somewhere. Right now, queen f5 probably met with queen takes b2, but even this, like bishop takes d5, white's playing bishop e4 starts to look very, very scary for black. Queen e5 maybe holding on just in time. Not sure I would go queen f5, allow queen takes b2. I think I would start with rook d1 here. Attack the pawn, ask black to play c6 or something, and then maybe start lifting the rooks, like rook d4, rook h4. If we get the rook to h4, it looks game over. So rook d4, I think, is a big problem. So this seems to be the plan for white. And all the way over. Can I get that arrow? Here we go. And then this one. Okay. Fun position. Let's see, we were looking at this game earlier. Vijay Nand looks like a junior against Tatev Abrahamian. f4 played in this one. Really opening everything up. C takes d5, takes e5, knight g4, h3, knight takes e5, takes on d5. So material has equalized, but who does this favor? Seems like it favors white. Very open position with the two bishops, but black also has a strong bishop on g7. Knight has a good square on e5. Just this pin is a bit annoying that white has here. So hard to say this one. What's going on here? White maybe has some d6 ideas at some point. Rook d1, knight comes in, and then d6 is a problem. So black kind of has to figure something out here very quickly. Yeah, can't move the knight. Is it a touch move? Okay, hopefully not. h6 maybe to question the bishop. But then even bishop f6 might be unpleasant. What's going on here? Take. Is there knight takes d5 tactic? Appears to be. So yeah, there's ways for white to go wrong here. So h6, maybe bishop f4. And then I was thinking knight c8. Black should try to get the knight to d6. Knight e4. Knight d6. Knight takes. Queen takes. Rook e1. Yeah, kind of a double-edged position. 6 minutes for Tato though, so she's gonna have to move quickly here. Oh boy, let's check with our streamers. Dina down to 1.5 minutes. Knight f5 played. Ooh, not a good look for black here. This is looking really risky. Let's go back a couple moves, see what happened. White was putting the pressure on here. He plays b4 after g6. So h4, g6, b4 played. If queen takes c3, then maybe white's going rook c1, rook c7 with massive counterplay, and then queen h6. Very annoying. Knight takes b5 also possibly. So she didn't take that one. She goes queen c4, rook e7, rook f7, trades, queen h6, takes on a5, h5, attacking from both angles, takes, rook e1, queen c5, covering e7 square, rook e3, white heads this way, queen f8, trying to challenge, white keeps the queens on because black's king is much more exposed, queen h3 now, f4, and there's still weaknesses to target. Now black manages to take a pawn here, but white is saying that his pieces are active enough to win the game. He's even offering a second pawn. And I think his idea is rook e7 with the threat rook takes f7, knight h6. So how does black deal with this? Especially with 35 seconds on the clock. Ooh, not good. Not good. So rook a8 played. Trying to challenge the queen with rook d8. But yeah, definitely feels like white has big initiative here. Maybe rook e7 again. Rook d8. Queen c7. Rook here. But wait, on rook d8, there's knight h6 check. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, rook e7 played. So rook d8, there's knight h6 check. Takes, whites up the exchange. And if king moves, we're taking on f7 with check. King h8, knight takes f7. So rook e7, there's no rook d8, but otherwise white's turning rook takes f7 and knight h6 check. I think it's over, guys. I'm not seeing a move here for Dina. Okay, rook a1, just not to flag. But king h2 here will be played quickly. And black has no move. Yeah, bummer. She got this difficult position, and then her opponent, I think, handled it, very well. GM level for sure. But I think it's going to be resigns here because I'm not seeing a move. Rook takes f7. It's just such a nasty threat. f3 doesn't really change anything, just going to take. And the game over. So, unfortunate for Dina. At least she has gotten her back into the tournament. Now she's playing against the GM. She survived the lower rated onslaughts, but yeah, these GMs are tough. GMs are tough. They know everything, they calculate everything, they see everything, they play endgames well. Very hard to beat. Yeah, it takes f7 and there's no hope. Okay, she takes back, knight a6 check. But yeah, now I think she's going to resign. I think there's little chance this one continues. And is this the end? I think it's the end. Yeah, probably they stopped the clocks already. Okay, sad news for Dina fans. Let's see how the other streamers are doing. Emily was also in big trouble, but this one is at least still going, and at this level, anything can really happen. Emily's also, gone in some swindles and counter swindles. So let's see Tony Padron. He's still squeezing. Queen f5, bishop h2. The bishop is coming back. He's squeezing from all directions, but at some point, I think white should win. You should be able to break through here. We got e5, queen takes g5. So Tony looking good. Tony playing for the full squeeze, like Karpov. Total control. How's our coworker doing? Oh. Wait, what? This was the game, and he just won. Our coworker won, but he was like completely toast out of the opening. What happened? We saw it here, and I was like, oh, it doesn't look good. Rook c1 played. Black won this pawn, knight e2. We got this endgame with extra pawn for black, but somehow white managed to, get a little pressure. Knight g6. Knight e5 check. Ooh. And rook c8. And just winning material. Look at that. Look at that. Very nice tactic. Very nice combo. That's it. Black losing material. Probably could have done this way too, but I think winning the exchange is even better. Because the rook, of course, much stronger than the bishop. So here the king gets in, and it's all over. Okay, let's circle back. Top boards. Bishop 6, bishop g5. This is Matvey Kevlishvili. Pieces were coming off. Takes. Ooh, getting this heavy piece endgame, but this one feels at least a little bit more pleasant for white. His king is safer. His pawn structure seems healthier. So we'll see if Victor is satisfied with a draw, or I think he's going to try to squeeze this one at least a little bit. But probably it's holdable for black with best play. Like a little annoying, but maybe not so bad. Like queen e6 here. And, white goes h4, h5, h6. White definitely can still ask some questions. Board 3 here was drawn with Bilal and Gabor Nagy. I guess white not really able to do much here. Got low on time, so draw agreed. Let's see, board 4. This game pretty sharp. Middle game. This one, a lot of pieces still left. Black having under 5 minutes. Opposite sides castling. Not clear how this one will go. And then we have Kostalansky against Cordova. Takes, bishop g3. DE, queen c5, check, king h2. Here, white has a piece for 2 pawns. A bishop even. Yes, Edward, we saw Nizhnik's game, Gabriela Antova, with a very nice win with black. We definitely saw that one. Fantastic piece sacrifice. And Sebastian here is also looking to pull the upset. Actually, a lot of upsets in this round, so this might be one with IM beating GM. This might be another here. Ooh, we gotta, yeah, come back to this game. A Kapian Ted Wang. Kapian was in trouble. Rook F1. And, oh wait, I was suggesting this, which is a blunder, because a rook takes G6 check. Oops. But black goes knight F4, much better move. Rook F5. Bishop A6. E7. White trying to make as much of a mess of things as he can. Rook E1 now seems to be one to play, but Rook E1. Yeah, what's going on here? This is still here. White's not totally done. Yeah. Black is not out of the woods. D6 played. Ooh, he goes D6. He's giving up the whole rook now. Ooh, well, this one just got very spicy. Not really sure if it's enough, because black's pawns, it's not clear how they're promoting. But I do wonder what he didn't like about rook E1. What was the problem here? Like holding on to the rook, D6 is still coming. What's the issue here? I'm not really sure. But Vladimir goes for it, D6. Wow. But I'm not sure I really get this one. Bishop takes, rook, king takes. Let's say black goes rook A7, knight G6. I mean, black can just take on E7 twice, then that's definitely winning. So what would be white's idea here? Knight C6 maybe? Defend, try to push D7. For rook C8, D7. But D7 right now is not a threat. We have rook takes E7. Okay, maybe F6. So if D7, rook E7, takes. That D pawn is getting stopped and black wins. I don't know. So rook E1, if bishop D3, I was thinking rook E5, and I didn't really see why this is a reason to reject it. But D6, yeah, I'm not quite getting it. Bishop takes F1. Played. Maybe either way was bad and he thought this is the best chance, but I didn't see like why it's so easy for black after rook E1. So that's kind of what we're missing, because here it seems like black is should be quite all right. Knight G6. And then F6, king F7, slowly bring in the king. Rook E1, maybe bishop C8. Oh, maybe that's the problem. Then knight D3. Yeah, what do we do here? Dang, so opponent would have found that, huh? Bummer. So hence he tries D6, takes, king takes. But it feels slow. It feels like it's going to be very hard for white, because the pawns are blockaded for now, so it'd be very hard to prove that white has enough for the rook. But still, some drama possibly left in this one. Oh, but speaking of drama, board 1 looks like ends in a draw. Queen takes E6, rook D8 check. Okay, I was thinking maybe white could press here a bit because the king is safer, but Matveshin decides to shut it down. Makes a draw. He stays in the clear lead with 5 out of 6. A lot of boards drawn in the top board, so these players are going to be on 4.5, 4.5. couple players could still reach Matvishyn with 5. So if we have a winner on this board, which very possible, 22 minutes against 1, a5 just played, looking for a6, queen d3. Okay, sharp stuff here. And on this board, Kostolansky, Cordova. If one of these players wins, well, actually no, Cordova's on 3.5. So if Sebastian wins, then he can break out to clear first with 5 out of 6. But first he has to convert this one against Cordova, which easier said than done. Okay, let's see what else is happening. This game was interesting. We did have rook d1 here, rook e8, bishop takes d5, king g7. So white has won their pawn back, and yeah, looks really well. On the last move, black did not go rook takes e2. For reasons that are not totally clear to me. Maybe bishop takes f7, he was afraid of this. Or possibly just queen f5 with the double attack. Queen f5, hitting the rook and hitting bishop takes f7 check. And black has no way of defending both of these pieces. Well, maybe here, but then queen takes f6. And yeah, it's looking really bad. So black starts with king g7. And now if white wants, he can go e3, rook d4, rook over. Very annoying plan. Looking really nice for Omid here. Okay, this endgame we saw. This one was looking really good for black. We saw the sacrifice earlier. Bishop takes c4, takes, and rook a3. Ooh, rook he doesn't take on e4. I thought that was where he goes. Rook a3. Now knight takes e4, f3, takes, queen c5, keeping the queens on the board. Rook a1. The grandmaster is grandmastering this position for sure. But queen b2. White continues to defend most stubborn way possible. And Armin has 3 pawns and a rook for 2 pieces, but of course has to close this one out with precision. Okay, Zoe Tang, another one of the top women in the US. She's playing FIDE Master here, and she just made tactical move, rook c1. Looking at black's back rank, it seems like black should be able to defend this, and material is equal. Although there's some tricks. For example, rook a8, knight takes b5, queen takes b5, queen takes a7. And white gets an extra pawn. But maybe rook c1, queen c1, knight c7. And black is just holding. Just needs one move to fix the back rank, and not huge problems. Okay, let's see what else is happening here. Tony. Tony continuing to put pressure. He's trying to break through here. He's very close. d5 happening soon. Bishop h2. I think he could go d5 here. Knight c5, bishop c5. He'll get his exchange back, and then black's king is going to be very, very open here. He goes back, rook c4. He's really, he's playing patient, guys. He's playing patient. He's like focused. He does not want to mess this up. But I think you could just go d5. I think you could just break through in this position and finish it. So takes, for example. I don't know what black plays. Queen d7, maybe takes here. Queen takes, take on c6. And yeah, black's king is in is in trouble. Black has weak pawns. Queen g7, queen b7. White's king is safer, so should be really good for white, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay, Tony looking good. Emily was in trouble. Coworker won. So we have another game here. Bick against Rohan Rajaram. Gabriel Blake, international master, strong player, looking to convert this one most likely. Well, let's check in on Tadev's position, see how she's doing. She did go h6 there, bishop e3, b6, bishop drops back, knight f5, g4, 96, rook e1. And now this is the live position, and Tadev has 3 minutes to play this one. Very tough position to play on 3 minutes, basically just relying on the increment. I do think Black's position actually very solid though, 'cause she's got all the dark squares. I kind of like Black's situation, queen to g5, just the time on the clock. The time is definitely a factor here. I don't know. 2 minutes for Black. Gotta find the move. Queen g5. Queen g5. What else to do? We have to move. We have to move. Queen g5 looks like a square. If knight e4, we trade it off. If knight f3, we trade it off. So it seems safe enough. I'm not sure what else Black can really hope for here. But yeah, this one is very much going to get decided in next couple of moves probably. So top 3 boards all drawn. And then we have a couple of games that are very much in the time trouble phase. Rook f1, played by Sebastian here against Cordova. The IM wins. He gets to tie for the lead going into round 7 tonight. He just played Rook f1. And yeah, he's up a piece here, and he's trying to convert it. Just trade off the rooks, trade off the material, leave himself with an extra piece, and win the endgame. I think White has really good winning chances here. I feel like it's really very close. I mean, Rook takes f1. He can also consider this. Bishop f7, Queen c8 check. If Rook f7 takes here, and this looks really really nice for White. Queen g6, Bishop e4. So he's got options. He can also just take back, and then e6 is still a problem for Black here, and just kind of slowly convert it. Hello, Randy. Randy asking if you play 2-day schedule, do you play 3 games today and tomorrow? Not sure how the 2-day works, because you got to play 7 rounds, right? So maybe 3 and 4. Two-day schedule is rough. I have no idea. I feel like 2-day schedule, the penultimate round is at round 10, so you have to play 5 games before that 10 a.m. round. So that doesn't seem possible. So I'm guessing it's 3 games and then 3 more fast games, and then you have to play the final round. So maybe 4 rounds and then 2 rounds, and then who you should be asking is the website. Thank you. Okay, 2-day schedule. Yeah, 4 rounds on Saturday, and then 2 more rounds on Sunday, and then you merge for the final round. Thank you. But don't quote me on this, okay? I'm just the commentator. You should be checking the website for all the official updated info. Yeah, that is a lot of chess. Yeah, but 2-day schedule is rough. Okay, Emilio trying to figure out how to survive this, I think. Hold on, he also has one thing we haven't looked at is he can take on h5 with check. Then I think white wants bishop h3. And he's saying that it's very hard to hold the e-pawn. Bishop f7, he can just take. And maybe take here, but taking the rook is probably better. 2 pieces up. Also struggling, I think, is Vladimir. I mean, he's got this like full rook sacrifice. Rook b5, rook b8, knight c6, black's playing rook b7, and stopping the pawns. So this is looking like a big upset brewing here on board 6. But let's stick with board 5. I'm curious how this one is going to play out. Just put up our standings as well so you guys can see current standings for now. And yeah, I'm not sure. Looking good for white. Looking good for white. We'll see if he can, if he has the nerves to close it off. Because I just don't see how black plays this. Rook takes f1, definitely not. Queen e6, bishop takes f1 is fine. So he takes on h5. I think we're going to see bishop h3. And then I don't see what he does. Maybe queen e7. Bishop h3 played. So queen e7, because if you take queen takes e6, you cannot take back, right? Bishop is pinned. So maybe queen e7. But then white is playing, I don't know, king g2. Reigniting the threat of queen takes e6. If bishop f7, I think just take and take. And this endgame, I think, would be, well, still actually not clear at all. Not clear, because black wins this pawn. I didn't realize black is taking on e5. So actually, that one's not so easy.
Someone else who just finished their game.
Oh, yeah, let's do it. One in. Hello, hello. Please join. How are you? You won, I assume? We saw...
I think so. Yeah.
Lily's. Nice, folks. We have Grandmaster Armin Mikhelian here, who's just playing on board 7. And yeah, this was nice. Maybe you want to take us through the game real quick?
Yeah, sure. So,
yeah, please.
Yep.
So you're playing I Am Minglu.
Yeah.
Young player?
Yeah, very talented. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So this is theory, and here after rook d1. Yeah. To be honest, I didn't know. Yeah. How to continue. Yeah. Maybe bishop e6 was fine. Because e5 is coming. If I move my queen somewhere, I don't know, queen c7, maybe somewhere bishop f6. So bishop e6, I think, is logical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and here, yeah, bishop h6, I think, is a crucial mistake in my opinion, because white should go castle, and then let's say after a4, yeah, some ideas like f4, f5. Or I don't know, yeah, something different, but not bishop h6, because here I will be ahead in development. Let's say bishop h6, queen b6,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. It looks like white has some problems, because, for instance, if queen d2, then rook c8, and now I'm trying to attack the pawns, and it's really unpleasant for white. After rook d2, rook c8, I was calculating this h4 line, h4. Can I?
Yeah. It'll take a sec.
Oh,
no,
sorry.
you're good. No worries. It's here you
So
go.
let's say h4, bishop c4,
Mm-hmm.
and then something like h5, bishop e2, ag6 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But in a worst case, yeah, I think I can capture rook c3 because yeah, there is no mate here, checkmate here. Rook c3, let's say gh7, king h8, bc3, and then yeah, I go somewhere with my bishop. I don't know, or even I don't know, 94 works, or it's 94. 94 looks interesting. Yeah, 94 rook e2, rook b1, queen b1, and if king e2, yeah, yeah, queen b1 mate. Yeah, it's
Right.
So yeah,
And then
if,
this is hanging
yeah.
too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
King e2, queen f2 check, and
Right.
yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, rook c3 maybe is not the best move, but I just thought that
Because if fg, then knight d5 is a problem.
yeah, 95 rook c1, king e2, rook h1. Still, I'm fine, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, knight f6, ef6, and queen h1. Maybe yeah. Here something like queen b5, or I can bring my rook. I could also include queen b5 move, yeah, first instead of yeah rook h1.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, yeah,
Right here.
it looks yeah very promising for
Yeah, for sure.
And
So
yeah,
you're thinking h4 is kind of like, well, if it doesn't work, then
yeah, if it doesn't work, then I think yeah white is in trouble. Yeah, here after b3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a4. I think yeah I have to play a4. So now if knight a4, then I go rook a4, ba4, and knight e4.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this one yeah should be lost because yeah queen e3 I just take. But yeah, here after a4, here's e5. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't like this e5 move because it's the same thing, but now my pawn structure yeah looks horrible after the e5.
Mm-hmm.
And knight a4, rook a4, ba4, and knight e4, and queen e3.
Oh, really?
And I don't know. Yeah.
So you have to take.
Yeah, let's say here, yeah, instead of queen e3, I was thinking even yeah to play queen b1 check,
Mm-hmm.
rook d1, queen b4 check, king f1, and knight c3. Yeah, here I think the only move is queen d2. Otherwise, I just take
Yeah, bishop c4. Yeah.
queen d2, and yeah, here bishop c4, and I think yeah, maybe yeah this variation is winning. Because yeah, now it's yeah lost. Yeah, king d1.
Yeah, nice. Wow. White's not getting out.
Yeah, because yeah, after queen e3, if I take the endgame, I don't know. Yeah, of course, yeah, it's better for me, but I'm not sure I'm winning on spot or not because bishop c4, rook c1, rook d8. Yeah, I have. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Yeah, rook d8.
Okay. I was also thinking this. Yeah. So.
Yeah, rook c1, rook d8. Yeah, check and yeah, it's
Well,
still yeah.
Two pawns up, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, so it means yeah, after a4, yeah, bishop d1, yeah, it should be lost. Yeah.
Right.
Take yeah, queen b4, and yeah, here if, he can't yeah move the knight because knight e4 is coming. So yeah.
Yeah, this one, and then bishop c4. We saw this. That was very nice.
And first, yeah, after bc4, yeah, I was calculating rook a3 because this is also enough, yeah, for a win. But yeah, then I decided yeah to play rook c4, and yeah, here yeah, of course.
Yeah, it looked like you just get everything. So let's see the end of the game. Queen c5, rook a1, and
yeah, here I could trade the queens because yeah, later. I mean, he doesn't have any move. Yeah, he played a king d3 here, and then b5, king c3, rook d1. Yeah.
Oh, nice. And that was it. Yeah, very nice, Armin. So now you have 4.5 out of 6.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, and we have another game, so we'll let you go. Thank you for joining. Best of luck. Alrighty, folks. So that was Grandmaster Armin. Very, very nice game. Actually, quite instructive. Accelerated Dragon, where I think I think basically what he said, white made this crucial mistake, bishop h6. And it's often a mistake to trade the dark squared bishops for white in this position because it's white that actually ends up with a lot of dark square weaknesses after takes and queen b6. So yeah, he was able to exploit that very well. While we were talking, I saw that round 4, or game 4, board 4, finished in Ian Bilic's favor. So he pulls off a bit of an upset here, although he's the higher rated player. But Bilic defeats a grandmaster with a6, b5, b3. Now rook takes f3. Wow, black went for the sacrifice. Takes knight d2. Queen e7, knight takes f3 check, king f2, queen f8, and it was game over. So yeah, black had no time. Basically, he was playing on the increment here after b3. Decides to go for the sack, but queen e7 looks like a killer move because it threatens mate, tags the rook, takes here. Again threatening mate, rook d7 was forced, and now queen check, and he picks up the knight, and black resigned. Maybe he shouldn't have taken here. Maybe rook to d7 was a better try, but queen takes e5 comes with check, and I don't think it's still somewhat tricky, but very likely just winning for white. Let's jump to board 5. 15 seconds for Kostalansky, and there's no second time control, so he's just relying on the increment here. What happened here? Here takes bishop h3, knight takes e5. He didn't take on e6. Oh, what happened? Bishop f7? Was there a problem? Problems here, huh? Queen is a bit trapped. So he went back queen e2. Now the knight is still under attack, and he still wants queen takes e6, so this might still be good for white. I also noticed board 6 ended in a draw. So somehow Akapian managed to save this down a whole rook. Let's see how it happened. Knight c6. Rook b7, and oh, he found rook takes b6. Oh, beautiful combination. And now if black takes on e7, he makes a queen. Black played here. White takes. Rook takes. Threatening mate. King g1. And black was almost lucky he didn't he didn't lose this. So takes. Knight b8 here. And somehow black offered a draw, which okay, he could definitely still, or I think white probably offered the draw, or actually I don't know, someone offered a draw, but black of course could still play on with an extra knight, extra pawn here in this knight endgame. Probably it's a draw with best play, but yeah, black could still pose some questions. Board 3 actually was not a quick draw. Because white spent almost all of his time here. He was down to 10 minutes. We were watching this game for a while, and white, it's 42 moves. So white was definitely putting pressure here, but couldn't really figure out how to really keep pressing. But definitely not a quick draw. There was certainly some fight in that game. And okay, board 5 though is like completely getting out of control right now. Bishop h3 takes, queen e2 play, d4. Knight e4, queen b5, offering the endgame because now black has gotten 4 pawns for the piece. So this one is completely turned around. I mean, earlier I thought white was doing really well, but now black has 4 pawns for the piece. So, I like white's piece, but 4 pawns is 4 pawns. Queen d1 played. He does not want to trade queens. Okay, we had chat mentioning that Tony's game was heating up. Yeah, a couple of games here still going. So Tony was doing really well here, putting pressure. D5 finally breaking through. Queen d7, bishop b6 check, goes for the endgame. Rook c2. Now black takes. And yeah, possibly he's getting in, although somehow I feel like white didn't get as much as he could have here. I feel like black actually got off the hook by getting into this endgame. And Tony's down to 3 minutes. So check, king e6 is going to be played, and then e takes d5, maybe? King takes d5. Oh, actually, there's some tactics here. So here, there's e takes d5. If king takes, rook d2 check. But king just goes back, and there's no rook e2. So maybe black actually can just take with the rook here as well. Yeah, so king e6 played. This one not so clear. I think white is still doing all right here. Can take on b7, but black takes on e4. Knight on f4 is pretty decent. Definitely, I think Tony had more earlier. But he went for the queen trade. Somehow he got his queen in a funny position. I think his queen was like... His queen was kind of good at g6. And we saw this moment where, yeah, I really thought white should have broken with d5 here. Because takes, bishop takes on d6, and then black's king is really open. I think that would have been the way to do it. Possibly he had more stuff as well, but now we're here, and okay, he's going to try to convert this endgame. Zach says that Frank plays at his club in Amarillo. Nice, nice. A lot of club players. Joe Bruin. Hello, Joe, in the YouTube chat. So Tony, I think, still decent chances. We'll see. Emily's trying. Emily's trying till the last one, to the last resource, but her opponent most likely gonna take it. Tatev. Okay, Tatev flagging according to the DGT, but I think she made a move. Or, well, she has a minute left here to make a move. We had this, g4, knight d6, rook e1, and I feel like I was looking at this position. I was saying queen g5, black should play, but yeah, she's got a minute to play here. So Tatev, hurry up. let's make a move. Let's make a move. It's a really tough position to play with no time because there are just so many pieces left. So there's just lots of tactics, lots of options. I think black's position is healthy here. You got all the pieces like on the dark squares. Knights are well placed. Bishop is really strong. Like rooks are easily connected. I think, improve the worst placed piece. Queen to g5 looks good. She must be calculating, knight e4, knight f3, but seems like we're able to just trade off and keep everything under control. But it's not looking good. Hello, Jimmy. How did Ilya do? Ilya unfortunately did not do well. He got rocked. He got rocked by Gabi Antova, who's now having very nice tournaments. Tatev here down to 30 seconds. And yeah, this game very sharp, board 5 as well. We'll just make sure black gets a move off here in time. Probably has played, but the DGT just hasn't picked it up yet, and we flagged. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. I'm sure the players have made moves. We'll keep an eye on it. Let's go to board 5. I mean, this one is really, this is kind of the game of the round right now. So here, Kostalansky had an extra piece, but Cordova, he just takes one pawn, and he takes a second pawn. Now it's 4 pawns he's up for the piece, and it's very tough. Very tough to play this position accurately, I think, with either side. Queen d8. And white having no time. He's playing on the 30-second increment. So can he find some coordination with the pieces here? Because if he could just get his king safe, okay, which is not happening, but if his king was not on g2 at least, but then there's bishops. Yeah, it's very tough position for white. But if he could just untangle, he would be doing really well. But at this point, the trend has really been in Cordova's favor. Okay, rook e4 play. That looks like a very reasonable move. And he does want to take the knight, so he does have a serious threat. What can black do here? If the knight moves, then maybe rook takes on e6. Okay, rook e4. Yeah, definitely the right move. Now, okay, white's getting some initiative, some threats going. What's Cordova going to play? Okay, knight c6 just brings the knight back. Now in rook takes e6, white has to be very careful. There's rook takes h3, check bishop d7. Big problem. Queen g4, queen c8. And that's how the GMs get you. That's how they get you. You're up a rook and you're losing. They're like, oh, you're up a rook, but how about you're losing? So do not take on e6. Do not take on e6. Okay, rook e3. Yeah, he sees it. He sees it. Rook e3. Black probably goes d2, but I think he wants rook e2. So he's trying to round up this pawn. Black pawns are weak. Black has 4 pawns, but they are all weak. So it's not like they can support each other, which means white's extra piece here definitely still worth a lot. So what's going on here? Bishop g6 just defends it this way. That makes sense. That makes sense. But this gives white time to play king g2 and unpin, which he desperately wants to do. Queen g2 just get bishop takes e6. All right, he goes queen g4. Also looks strong. Also looks very annoying. Queen kind of hits everything here. But maybe black can just give the e-pawn. Maybe go d2. d2, queen takes e6, king h7. Force white to deal with the d-pawn. He always has knight d1, but of course it's passive. I do feel like white's maybe turning things around again. Now it's maybe white who's in control. If rook h3, there's still queen takes h3. Not king takes h3, bishop f5. Okay, still anyone's game. Bishop f7. Maybe rook takes e6. Takes. Queen takes h5. This one I feel actually kind of drawish now. Bishop f7 played. Okay, he goes back with the bishop. So we might get this. But this one seems kind of drawish to me because like it's hard to use the extra piece. It's hard to use the extra pawns. So we might get some kind of just equilibrium. We'll see what white goes for here. Maybe he'll try to just go king g2, just improve his position. Queen e4. Maybe queen e4. Kind of round up the pawn. With 20 seconds, it's hard. Do you go for the safe option or do you keep the pressure? Come on, Sebastian. Let's go queen e4. Centralize the queen. It looks very strong. Taking this diagonal. If white can go queen e4 and rook d3, then he has a winning position. Oh, queen e4 played. Queen e4 played. Nice. Nice. Now he wants rook d3. So d2, rook d3. That's a problem for black. Oh, hello, hello. You want to join the stream? Sure. All right, let's do it. Folks, we are another guest. Actually, this game is very hot right now. I don't know if you were watching this one at all.
No, I wasn't following anything.
All good. But we have I am Gabriel Bick. And let me pull up your game here. I think it's on the delay, but looks like you got this queen end game. And how did this one turn out?
Yeah, it was a draw. I think, yeah, I kind of misvalued the transformation into the queen and rook's position earlier. I could have won a pawn slightly earlier.
Yeah, should we go back? You can show us one or two moments. Yeah.
Go back. Yeah, we can go through.
I'll just go through the opening pretty quick.
Yeah, nothing super interesting here.
Right, so exchange Slav. Okay, very solid from white.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of expecting knight d3 instead of knight a4. I thought it was because I thought I was kind of telegraphing e5 here. But yeah, I mean, I guess he didn't really care to prevent it.
Mm-hmm. 592. Takes, and yeah, it looks like you're generating at least some pressure.
Yeah, and g5 here, and now I thought this should be pretty unpleasant for him because yeah, h3, queen takes h3.
That's nice.
Yeah, f4 takes, queen h6 is there.
Just take anyway, and queen h6.
Yeah.
Nice. Mm-hmm. So knight d4, g4.
Yeah, I thought he would play f4 again.
Right.
Seems more weakening to allow g takes f3, but yeah, I guess he was just worried about the e4 square.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right.
e4, knight g6, but yeah.
F2.
Queen f2, yeah, takes, queen h3. Yeah, nothing too crazy. This was all kind of as I expected. Knight d1, knight h4. Yeah, and I thought I should have
Right, feels like you
a lot of pressure here.
got something for sure. Takes, rook g1, g6. Yeah, like all your pieces seem to stand better, but how to...
Yeah, and then rook c4. Okay, yeah, and then rook b2. And yeah, here I thought, yeah, I think I just misvalued queen b2 here. I think knight takes g4. Probably the extra pawn is winning was my thought.
So queen takes c2.
Yeah, knight takes e3, queen e2, I was assuming. Knight takes, and
Right.
take d1, king f6, and yeah, I mean, I think it should be.
Yeah, you're definitely, okay, playing for two results. And
Yeah. But yeah, no, after queen b2, I think, yeah, rook d2, rook c7, somehow I thought this would be better than it ended up being.
Gotcha.
Because now d5 is, undefended, and somehow there's not really as much play as I expected. So yeah, this kind of just peters out.
I see.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, it's tough to convert these sometimes.
Yeah.
But how many points are you on now?
Let's see, that's 6 rounds, so 3.5, I think, +1.
3.5. And
Yeah.
so how's your tournament going so far?
I mean, this is my first tournament back in like a year, so I guess all things considered, not bad. Yeah, I guess I'm playing okay. Yeah, probably just need to play faster some games, and that'll probably help me convert some of these positions. But yeah, lots of kids, It's
Yeah,
tough.
it's been a tough tournament for the non-kids.
Yeah.
Well, cool. You got another round today and 3 rounds to go. So
Yeah.
best of luck.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Hopefully see you again. All right, folks. That was International Master Gabriel Bick. He's got 3.5 out of 6 in the Open. Just drew this game. And let's check in. See what's happening in this live game. Yeah, this game I had a feeling was still gonna be going. This line over here. So White went for it. White went for it with Queen E4, D2, Rook D3, Queen G5, Bishop F4. Grabs the D pawn. Bishop G6. Black relying on this tactic. Oh. Oh, but what's going on here? Rook f3? And is black not getting a lot of pawns here? So now black could take and get some material back. Rook takes f6, gf, knight takes e4. And black has a rook and 3 pawns for 2 pieces. It's not the easiest position to convert, but 3 pawns, I mean, they're healthy, and the rook can just swing back. So probably this is winning. Rook comes to d5. Cordova might swindle this one out. Yes, we saw the Ilya game. That was definitely one of the big games of the round. So I don't know if white had to take this pawn. It was very hard not to. Maybe rook takes d2. Actually, this would have still been... I think this might have just been a blunder. I think rook takes d2. It looks like white's in full control here. Piece for 3 pawns, but the 3 pawns aren't that strong. White's still kind of got, I think, the advantage here. But after bishop takes d2, bishop g6... black is just winning back a lot of material. And now I think it's Cordova's game to win. Let's check Tatev. This one, okay, this one we stopped getting moves for because we had this position for a while. Tony, wait, what was happening? Tony blew it. Oh no. Oh no, he ran into check and check. And now he's down the exchange and he's scrambling, but no, I don't think you're going to save this one. I don't think he saved this one. Oh, big bummer for our streamers here. Actually, I think all the streamers are going to lose this round. It's not a good round for the streamers. So Dina lost, Kevin lost, Emily lost, and now Tony's losing too. Oh, bummer. All right, bad day to be a streamer. So we got a couple boards left here. Another endgame. Christian Cruz, another grandmaster from Peru, I believe. Both he and Cordova from Peru. Christian's looking to win this one by bringing in the king. And okay, he's very close. He could have brought in the king right away, but then black would also get the king in. Dina lost to a GM from France, Gabrielle Flom. So she faced a very strong player, of course. Well, let's jump to board 5. Let's see. We got this endgame. Rook takes f6, takes knight e4, king f7. Oh, so he's not even worried about knight d6 check. Knight takes b7 because he has rook b5 at the end. Ooh, now he's really bullying the guy. Now he's just straight up bullying him. So he's like, go ahead and play knight d6, friend. So this is 3 pawns. Rook and 3 pawns, it's definitely stronger than the 2 bishops because white doesn't have any passed pawns. They don't have any obvious counterplay. So black just needs to coordinate their stuff and then slowly start pushing the pawns. And yeah, definitely should win at some point. The queen side will be attacked. So this one's looking like the technical win for Cordova. Okay, folks. Actually, I think we're going to wrap up the stream there. I've been going for about 4 hours. Thank you for following, everyone who's joined so far. Let me recap the standings. So we have one player at the top, 5 points, Viktor Matvishin, Grandmaster, who leads with 5 out of 6. And he is a half point ahead of 19 players. No, he's a half a point ahead. 9 players on 4.5 out of 6. It's kind of wild. A bunch of Grandmasters. And I am Bilic, FIDE Master Isaac Wang as well on 4.5 points. So, yeah, big fight again. Vladimir Kapyan 1 point behind with 4 out of 5. Cordova likely going to win this and join the group at 4.5 points. So we're going to have 10 players on 4.5, 1 player on 5. Next round, I think we're going to see Victor against maybe Zhao Jinchao, who's got 4.5 points, very high-rated player. Maybe Cordova will play on board 1. So we're going to have some big matchups. I'll be back for more commentary for round 7. That's starting 3:30 p.m. local time, but there's a bit of a delay, so we might start the stream around 3:45. And yeah, folks, that's gonna do it. I'll drop the link to the games if you guys want to see the rest of it play out. And yeah, for now we'll end it. Maybe send a raid over to someone. So folks, thanks for joining me, and hopefully I will catch you later today. Yeah, why don't we go raid the Chess Sharks? Unfortunately, Tony's probably not saving the game, but you guys can go say hi to him afterwards, after the round. Alright, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you next time.